Okay, I think you can see my program here now. And I'll do an overview of who we have presenting today. After our opening ceremonies, we'll have a few videos about the Chinese Lunar New Year. And then Professor Zhang will speak about promoting traditional Chinese medicine culture to move toward the future together. That will be at 1:30. And then at 1:40, Lucy Griffiths will speak on awakening your inner tiger, the food energetics to increase yang qi. At 2:10, Dr. Diana Lee will speak about the Meridian Acupressure massage for enhancing immunity to prevent illness. Then at 2:40, Dr. Franklin Shi Chen will speak on mental health care and self-healing acupressure. At 3:10, Professor David Dong Liu will give a presentation on Qigong and Tai Chi. At 3:40, then Rory Halwerda will speak on Chinese herbal tea and herbal medicine for respiratory conditions. And at 4:10, St. Mary's University Confucius Institute, Chinese teacher Ms. Joyce will speak on decoding the Chinese characters. And then at 4:30, we'll reconvene to have a few closing remarks and go forward with the rest of our day. So without further ado, I think if we're ready, we'll go ahead and play the videos for the Chinese New Year. Give me a second while I switch over my screen. Okay, we should be set to go. Okay, enjoy this video.
The Chinese New Year, or Spring Festival, is the biggest and most important festival in China. It's the time for the family reunion. People always go home no matter how far they stay. The celebration period of the Chinese New Year lasts 16 days, starting from the Chinese New Year's Eve and lasting until the Lantern Festival, the 15th day of the first lunar month. Only the first 7 days are the official public holiday. Just 6 days to find a date in the Chinese zodiac animal signs of the recent years, or claim this link to know more. There are many legends and stories about arranging of the Chinese New Year. The most famous one is about the Mountain Man. The scary man came out of the forest to feast on animals and humans every Chinese New Year's Eve. People eat meat every time until they knew that man was afraid of the color red and the loud noises. After that, they would wear red clothes, put red papers up, hang red lanterns, and set off firecrackers to scare away the monster man. These traditions have been continued to this day. Chinese New Year has a history of over 4,000 years. It originated from the worship of the gods and the ancestors from the pre-Qin period. The first fully written calendar appeared in Han Dynasty. It fixed the date of the Chinese New Year, the first day of the first month in the Chinese lunar calendar. From Wei and Jin dynasties to Qing dynasty, there are more and more Chinese New Year activities, such as people started the New Year's Eve tradition of Shou Sui in Wei and Jin dynasties, which is all-night revelry. During the Tang dynasty, people established the custom of sending Bai Nian Tie. That's the Chinese New Year's greeting card. In the Song dynasty, people began to make bianpao, the firecrackers. Setting off firecrackers would gradually become prevalent in the Spring Festival. In the Qing dynasty, the Spring Festival was not over until the Lantern Festival. Guessing lantern riddles was very popular to have fun. From 2000, Chinese people have had 7-day Chinese New Year Golden Week. It became an official public holiday in 2007. China's New Year is rich in traditions and customs. During the 16-day festival season, There are always some specific things to do on a big schedule. Usually, the most important days are the Chinese New Year's Eve, Chinese New Year's Day, and the Lantern Festival. New Year shopping. People always go shopping for new clothes, food, snack, decorations, gifts for relatives and friends, like some red things before their relatives or friends' birthday year for good luck. Cleaning house and decorating it with the color red, like lanterns, carpet, and a full character. Enjoy a family reunion dinner on New Year's Eve. Chinese always prepare a table full of delicious dishes, including some lucky food like fish, chicken, dumplings, noodles, and rice cake. It's the most important time. All the family members sit, eat, and chat together and enjoy the moment of reunion. After dinner, people have lots of fun, playing mahjong, chatting, watching CCTV Spring Festival Gala, exchanging wishes and red envelopes. Nowadays, people like to use WeChat to exchanging greetings and red envelopes. The most popular greeting is Happy Chinese New Year. In Chinese, 新年快乐, or you can say 新年好. Setting off firecrackers and fireworkers. For the kids, it may be one of their favorite activities. Watching lion and dragon dances, like in Guangzhou and Hong Kong. Visiting relatives and friends with gifts. Watching folk shows and attending temple fairs, like the famous Ditan Temple Fair in Beijing. Some people have their wedding as their families and friends are at home due to the 7-day public holiday. There are some activities that the Chinese must do. Are there anything that people can't do? Yes, wake up on New Year's Day, or you will sweep all your luck away. Don't say unlucky words such as death, poor, sick, and any other words with negative meaning. Don't break anything, especially plates or dishes. It means you are breaking your connection to prosperity and good fortune. What's your favorite tradition of this festival? Do you have such a holiday in your country? Let me know in the comments below. We'll make more videos about China and Chinese culture. Don't forget to subscribe China Travel channel if you want to know more. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Sell online and grow your business.
Okay, 新年快乐. Before we move on to our final video, we have just a little short video about the Year of the Tiger. But before we do that, I'd like to have a few words from our sponsors. We first have Dr. Li representing the Chinese Medicine and Acupuncture Association of Canada. Dr. Li, would you like to say a few words on behalf of the association?
Thank you very much. And I'm Dr. Diana Li. I'm presenting the association. And this is the CMAAC, is a national association. And this festival is beginning with the CCATCM. They are Dean of Lucy and with her student together set up a festival. Right away when they have an idea, they want to set up a Canadian TCM festival. We from there grow involved with the Samari Confucius Institute, involved with our association, and then have other few clinic as a donation. Later on, involved with the Federation of TCM College. So it's mainly is a group efforts to make this from beginning 3 years ago to now. And the three main party is Samari University Confucius Institute and CMAAC and this National Association and the Canadian College of Acupuncture. So I want to thank everyone's hard work. We have a lot of volunteer and a lot like a pay worker as well to make a federal any festival happening is a lot of hard work first festival, we have an event planner working for 6 months before the happening. And the second one is spend 3 months. So this one we spend 2 months. And, thanks for, this special event planner helping us. We do a lot of Facebook marketing and, even pay Facebook marketing. But no matter how much we try, important sense right now, this festival heading into Valentine's Day. So this weekend a little bit harder for people to join our events. But even just a few people, few key people, we can share our knowledge, give people, knowledge of how to healing yourself and healing your family or healing your patient using traditional Chinese medicine. And that is our purpose to do, to helping people. So we really great appreciate everyone's time to be joining this festival with us. And thank you very much. And I hope you enjoy this afternoon with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. I'd like Lucy Griffiths from the college to say a few words of introduction, if you will, Lucy.
Certainly, thank you, Janice. Welcome everybody to this third Canadian Traditional Chinese Medicine Festival. I definitely did not envisage it becoming such a popular event. As Dr. Lee said, it originated as a class project at the Canadian College of Acupuncture and TCM here in Bedford, Nova Scotia. And the students were tasked with the project of creating and promoting a festival to open people's horizons to Chinese medicine and to how they can use it as their everyday life. Chinese medicine is based in nature, and every human being experiences nature. So the students did a fantastic job. That was back in the year of the rat. And I thank all of our sponsors and the team that have been worked really hard to put this festival together, continuing it each year. And here we are in the year of the tiger. So I look forward to the festival. It's a great way to collaborate with other practitioners and people around the world, and to help to incorporate traditional Chinese culture into other cultures as well. So welcome everybody. I'm certain we have a really interesting program ahead, and thank you again for attending and for your efforts to continue this now tradition of Chinese festivals.
Okay, thank you very much, Lucy. And before I play a short video about the Year of the Tiger, I'd like to also ask Professor Zhang from the Confucius Institute at St. Mary's University to say a few words of welcome as one of our other sponsors. Professor
Hello?
Zhang?
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
I'm so sorry you cannot see my image. This does not work so well here. It's my honor to be invited to join this festival.
I'm not sure what happened. I think we might have just lost Professor Zhang. Well, I think we'll go ahead and play the video for the Year of the Tiger. And then when Dr. Zhang comes back on, Dr. Zhang will also be speaking. So I'll let him continue there with a welcome. So I'll switch over to watch the Year of the Tiger video.
Recording in progress.
No voice.
Hello.
Hello. Fine.
I'm back. I'm back. Okay. So thank you very much, Dr. Lee, Dr. Chen, for your hard work and contribution to promoting traditional Chinese medicine in Canada. I really appreciate your work and your contribution. Wish the third traditional Chinese festival a great success, even though we are just like a big family reunion today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry for the glitch there. I'd like to go back to where we were with the video. It's just a little bit more in the video about the Year of the Tiger.
On the ground act widely and cause a disaster to the human world. It has attracted the land god's attention, and he reported immediately to the Jade Emperor. The Jade Emperor ordered the tiger to overpower the animals. The tiger nodded and asked for credit for each victory. For peace, the Jade Emperor accepted its request. After down to the earth, the tiger learned that lion, bear, and horse were the three most powerful animals. So, after challenging them, it finally beat them with its bravery and superior martial arts. Then, the other animals fled. The people were so happy, and they thanked the tiger for its great successes. When back to heaven, the Jade Emperor covered 3 horizontal lines on the forehead of tiger for its 3 victories. Later, the mortal world was disturbed by a turtle monster in the East Sea with its extreme soldiers and crab generals. The tiger came to the ground again and defeated the turtle monster. The Jade Emperor added a vertical line on its forehead. Therefore, an eye-catching Chinese character Wang, which means king, appeared. The tiger became the king of all beasts, controlling all the animals. After that, the Jade Emperor replaced the lion with the tiger on the list of the Chinese zodiac. Since then, the tiger became a zodiac sign while the lion was expelled to the far south. The tiger came to the mortal world from the heavenly palace and guarded peace forever. In Chinese culture, tigers have been regarded as a symbol of strength, braveness, and the expansion of evil since ancient times. People believe that tigers are the protectors of children. Therefore, during the Chinese New Year, kids in many regions would wear a tag hat and tiger head shoes for good luck. In some places, Chinese people have been using tiger to ward off bad luck, like the dog god pictures and hanging pictures. We'll make more videos about China and Chinese culture. If you want to know more, subscribe to China Travel channel for our next video. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
I didn't feel comfortable blurting this out. Blurting what out? I can't sneak around anymore. Back up. Back.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Again, welcome to the Year of the Tiger celebration TCM Festival. And I thank you all participants and thank you for our presenters today. And I'd like to welcome you again to this Year of the Tiger, the year of bravery, courage, and protection from evil, which sounds like a really good thing right now. So without further ado, I'd like to move on and have our presentation by Professor Zhang. Professor Zhang, thank you so much for joining us today. And the topic here, we've changed the topic, and the title is now Promote Traditional Chinese Medicine Culture and Moving Toward the Future Together. Dr. Zhang, would you like to take over the presentation now?
Okay, thank you. Share. All right, with the spirit tiger, I present something today. It's beyond my expertise to make such a kind of presentation. So from the title, I'd like to try to show the cultural elements in the presentation, the role that traditional Chinese medicine plays in fighting COVID-19, SARS, or the other disease. So about TCM policy in China and the contribution of TCM in fighting COVID-19, briefly, not in detail. So my topic today covers the four aspects. Elements in Beijing Winter Olympic Games. You will see the beauty of traditional Chinese medicine and to build high quality and efficient TCM service system in China and also in the world. And TCM helps build a community to safeguard, to guarantee people's health, and also a little bit about the Chinese classics, analects, and how to cultivate the way of self-cultivation. So this is the pictures from the media in China. A Chinese medicine cultural space is dedicated in the Olympic game village in Beijing, and in which there is a bronze man of acupuncture with acupoints and meridians, and two big walls which presents the resources of Chinese herbs, where they come from, and also traditional Chinese medicine classics like Huangdi Neijing, Emperor Huang, internal classics. So to talk about Chinese medicine, we cannot ignore a person, Tu Youyou and Artemisinin, developed and extracted from Artemisia, a very humble grass plant. So far, according to World WHO, artemisinin is still the choice for malaria treatment today. And from the topic by Tu Youyou delivered at the award ceremony, we can, sorry, just, can I just blocked my, probably a little bit. Okay. So her title for the speech is The Discovery of Artemisinin, the gift of traditional Chinese medicine to the world, the gift or the legacy of Chinese medicine to the world. This Nobel Prize is the highest award for the achievements in traditional Chinese medicine. And the profound significance of traditional Chinese medicine in safeguarding human health. Also, the pride of Chinese medical and health community. So this is very significant for the Chinese medicine community. It's very encouraging to receive this prize. And the second element in the space is the rich and colorful Chinese herbs from Shenong, who promoted sprouts as an effective medicine by self-administering unknown plants, which is very dangerous, and observing the effects to Baishao. The formation of a traditional Chinese medicine culture system based on the results of the fourth National General Survey of TCM resources, the contribution of the resources survey to the development of TCM is introduced. And 156 kinds of authentic medicinal materials and distribution map of TCM resources are also presented along the two walls. And TCM of the world. So the influence of TCM on traditional medicines of countries along the ancient Silk Road, acupuncture, and moxibustion of TCM, Tibetan medicine baths, Tai Chi Chuan, Huangdi Neijing, and compendium of materia medica, which is included in the Memory of the World list. So the current legislation and the development of TCM in the world, by the end of the 13th five-year plan, TCM has spread to 196 countries and regions, 57 Belt and Road TCM overseas centers had been established, and 38 countries had promulgated laws and regulations on TCM. So TCM is making great contributions to human health. So we see the WHO collaborating center in traditional medicine in Macau, and also in global WHO global medical program. So and another element is the role of TCM in COVID-19 prevention and control. So it showcases the progress and achievements of TCM in China's fight against COVID-19. So according to Huangdi Neijing, it is better to prevent illness from occurring than to cure them after they arise. So in the prevention and the treatment of COVID-19, the 3 drugs and 3 prescriptions of TCM with outstanding performance is illustrated. And during the 2019 and 2020 COVID-19 pandemic, the Chinese scientist Zhang Beli strongly advised the use of traditional Chinese medicine, and the suggestion was adopted by the Central Guidance Group or Steering Group. So to propose the State Council to develop and strengthen the TCM health industry and foster the development of TCM key technologies and equipment industry, promoting the modernization of TCM. He is also the Olympic torch bearer in Beijing. And second part of this presentation is to build a high quality and efficient TCM service system 2022. So according to National Administration of TCM, the TCM Health Promotion Campaign will be launched to provide TCM health services covering the whole population and the whole life cycle. That's the policy. And also, to fully realize the unique advantages of TCM in epidemic prevention and control. So China will strengthen its scientific research and innovation of TCM. And thirdly, TCM helps build a community of human health. So National Administration of TCM has introduced TCM diagnosis and treatment plans to more than 150 countries and regions, promoting the three drug approaches to the international community and contributing to the building of community of human health. They also issued development plan for the advancing quality of integrating TCM into the building of a One Belt and a One Road initiative, giving full play to the characteristics of TCM and pluralistic value advantage, further deepen the international exchanges and cooperation. They support cooperation between China TCM, Cochrane Medical Center, and the World Health Organization. So to build an international clinical trial registration platform in the field of TCM, promote international standardization of TCM, release 8 ISO international standards on TCM, and promote the initiating of 3 ISO international standards on TCM. So International TCM Clinical Talents Training Project is the highest level of TCM Clinical Talent Training Project implemented by National Administration of TCM. So that's basically the policy adopted, implemented in China. And this is my original topic, the study of Confucian classics, the analects, to comprehend the way of self-cultivation. Probably Confucius was influenced by traditional Chinese medicine or whatever. By his saying or quotation, we can see some of the traces of traditional Chinese medicine, like Confucius said, good medicine is bitter to the mouth. So the curative effect of TCM is illustrated from his saying. And Confucius' spiritual health, benevolence leads to longevity. So if you want to live longer, you have to be benevolent, to do more charitable work, and you will be happy. You can live longer. And Confucius' dietary principles, rotten food and fish should not be eaten, or should food that has changed the color or smell should not be eaten, to prevent illnesses, that is foodborne illnesses, from the time of Confucius. And also, he's very careful of the use of medicine. There is a story. Confucius was ill, and someone presented him with medicine, and Confucius said, I don't know very well about medicine. I don't have that expertise in medicine, so I dare not to take it. So to be prudent in taking medicine. So it's the best policy is to prevent becoming or getting ill. And he also has 3 restraints for a true gentleman. So stay away from the dangerous things. Like when young, you have to restrain yourself from enjoying yourself too much. And the middle age, refrain oneself from fighting or arguing, becoming angry. And when you get old, you have to restrain yourself from being greedy. So these are the philosophies or thoughts from the classics, like the Analects by Confucius. So I think there are some close relations between traditional Chinese medicine and traditional Chinese classics, like the Analect. So that's what I have covered so far. I'm not expert in this aspect. In a way, it's a pleasure to be involved in this activity. That's all for my presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Zhang. Thank you for your presentation today. Insightful roots of traditional Chinese medicine in traditional Chinese culture. And I want to thank you on behalf of also for the sponsorship on behalf of the Confucius Institute and St. Mary's University. I'd like to also, Dr. Zhang, if you can stop screen sharing, I'd like to say a few words about the Confucius Institute also.
Now I stop sharing. Yeah, stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So the Confucius Institute is such a resource that we have in the HRM area in Nova Scotia. The Confucius Institute at St. Mary's University is a nonprofit organization dedicated to the promotion of Chinese language, culture, commerce, and studies. It's a joint venture between Xiamen University and St. Mary's University. The agreement establishing the Institute was signed on October 25, 2010 at a ceremony at Province House. The Institute builds upon the strength of the long-established Asian Studies program in the Faculty of Arts and reflects the long-standing linkages between St. Mary's and Xiamen universities. Opening in the fall of 2011, the Confucius Institute at St. Mary's serves not only the students and faculties of St. Mary's University, but also the broader community within the Halifax Regional Municipality and eventually the entirety of the province of Nova Scotia. So thank you very much again, Dr. Zhang. And I'd like to now move the presentation on to Lucy Griffiths, who will speak on awakening your inner tiger. I'd like to take a few moments to introduce Lucy, and I will share from the program also on that. Give me a moment to switch over to that. Lucy Griffiths has been a full practicing member of the British Acupuncture Council for 16 years and has taught for the governing body as a certified clinical supervisor and mentor. Lucy brings her experience to CCA TCM, the Canadian College of Acupuncture and Traditional Chinese Medicine, to assist with the training of the next generation of TCM practitioners in Canada and across the world. She currently serves, amongst many other things, as the Dean of Acupuncture at CCA TCM. Thank you, Lucy, for joining us, and we look forward to your presentation to awaken our inner tiger.
Thanks, Janice. Can you believe that that was written nearly 4 years ago when I moved to Canada? So much has changed. Okie let's just move Zoom around and go to the beginning and press play. So what I'd like to share with everybody today is just some ideas of how to use food as a, bear with me for 1 second, Zoom's doing a bit of a issue. Okay. Janice, are you able to stop my screen sharing? Zoom has taken my cursor from my screen. So I'm controlless.
It says I cannot do anything while you're sharing.
Okay.
Let me try something.
Do you want the email your PowerPoint we take care for you?
It's okay. It's now Janice closed Zoom, so now I've got my cursor back. Thank you.
Okay, good.
All right, let's try this again. Zoom does these things sometimes. So as I was saying, what I'd like to do today is share some ideas of how to use traditional Chinese medicine theory with everyday foods and products that everyone can access, and it doesn't require any special skills. So the tiger is one of the most yang animals of the Chinese zodiac. Well, what does that mean? What does yang mean? Well, if you're in Chinese medicine, yang is a phrase that we use all the time. But I think the principles of yin and yang, which are the foundation principles of TCM, are so useful for everybody to understand. It helps us put everything into context. And then, in fact, there was a saying, a very old saying, that if you understand yin and yang, you hold the answers of the universe in your hand. And that is absolutely true. So yin and yang are an ancient Chinese philosophy. They probably have existed in every ancient culture, but Chinese philosophy really took hold of the concepts of the polar opposites. Now, you can't have yin without yang. You can't have yang without yin. They build each other's foundation. Just like the moon wouldn't come out in the nighttime if the sun didn't rise in the daytime. So that's a great example of yin and yang. It's called an interdependent relationship. They rely on each other. So nourishing our yang will help us get through the yin. We're actually at the opposite end of that relationship right now. We're coming to the end of winter. Winter is the most yin season. Yin is all about inside, dark, cool, nurturing, replenishing. So that's what we should be doing during the winter time. Look at animals and they hibernate. They hibernate to build their yin foundation. And with a good yin foundation, we can have yang. So I know we're all feeling it. Certainly here in Nova Scotia, we've had every weekend, it seems, for the last month, there's been a storm weekend. We're all itching to get outside. We're itching to be more active and agitated, and we want to move more. And that's our yang starting to pop up to the surface. We've had our yin, we've built our foundation, and we're ready to switch the story now. We're ready to switch into yang. So our yang is daytime, it's brightness, it's energy. Yesterday was a beautiful sunny day. It was warm. The streets were busy, the parks were busy, everyone was chattier. There was a palpable energy in the air, and that palpable energy is what Chinese medicine calls qi. So yang pinnacle is summer. But you don't have to wait until the summer to start building yang. As any good vegetable farmer will tell you, it's the preparation that you do beforehand that actually helps your vegetables to grow. So as we're coming to the end of winter, now is the perfect time to start building up our yang, try to build that foundation so that we gather together the energy so that we can be more external, more energetic, more active whilst we're outside in the warmth of the summer sun. So the transition from winter to spring is when yin naturally starts to decline, yang naturally starts to increase, but Yang is at its lowest right now. We've used all of the reserves we built up last summer. We've used all of last year's Yang. We use it up by going through Christmas, by having a winter of less activity and less warmth. So expecting our Yang to naturally rise right now is a little bit unfair, to be honest. It's a bit unfair on the body. We don't have much Yang, and yet we need it to start to transition, to start to grow. So we can really help to support our body through this transition of seasons with food. And spring is a particularly tumultuous transitional time. It's a particularly challenging and tiring time for the body if we haven't built up our Yang so that we gather the strength to do that change. So 2022 being the year of the tiger, and the new year, the Chinese New Year, is so perfectly situated at the end of the yin season. It just makes sense to use Yang foods to help us move forward. If we can get through spring, if we can look after ourselves during spring, as Dr. Zhang referenced in the classic texts, the most classic text is the Huangdi Neijing, the Yellow Emperor. And, you know, that's even available on Amazon now. It's well worth a read. It helps us understand this transition through yin and yang that we all experience. So we thought Chinese New Year, just at that perfect time when we can start to build up yang. How does yang become deficient? Well, like I mentioned, we've all used our yang up from last year. We do that a lot through Christmas. Western society particularly is rushing around at Christmas, very busy, very active, staying up late, doing far too much, using all of our reserves far too quickly. But yang can also become deficient through not enough physical activity. We're just like a machine, really. If you keep a machine moving regularly, then it will continue to move. It will continue to work. So a lack of physical activity can help the body get into a real slump, and yang becomes deficient. And then it's really difficult because it becomes even harder to get going again. Cold weather and a cold environment, an internal environment, both of those things help to really challenge our yang. Yang is our warmth, it's our spark, our fire. So the more cold we are, the more at risk our internal yang is. And that isn't just related to cold weather, but it is cold food intake and raw food as well. If you think about when you're cooking, it takes much longer in the oven to cook something that is large and raw and cold than it does to take something that is naturally smaller or softer or at room temperature. If you tried to boil a pan of water and you used a pan of iced water and a pan of room temperature water, we all know that the room temperature water would boil quicker. And that is a great example of yin and yang. So if we consume too much cold food or too much raw food, it requires even more heat to help to break that down and turn it into energy. So that will be a reason why people become yang deficient. And of course, stress. Stress doesn't do anybody any favors at all. It gives our body the message that we're going into battle. So we're going to use our yang resources then as well. So how do we know if we're yang deficient? Well, like I said, yang is our internal fire. It's our spark. It's our vitality. And it typically affects the digestive organ, which in Chinese medicine is predominantly the spleen. It affects the heart, because in Chinese medicine, the heart is a fire element organ, and the heart needs to be kept warm. Think of the English phrase, cold-hearted. Somebody's cold-hearted. That doesn't make them sound good. So the heart needs to be kept warm. And the kidneys need to be kept warm as well. The kidneys are our mixer tap. The kidneys are our water element. We have a cold water and a hot water. And well, imagine your house without hot water. It would not be a pleasant place to live. So our kidneys need warmth as well. So if you're feeling a bit yang deficient, you might feel cold very easily. That might be cold limbs. It might even be really cold inside. You won't feel thirsty. Your body literally won't have enough warmth to manage body fluids, to cook your internal food, so to break down your food with digestion and to turn it into energy. It won't have the fire to do that. So you'll have a lack of thirst, and if you do drink, it will only be hot drinks. You'll have a desire for hot drinks. You might notice some pale to your complexion, some pale face, and you might notice some watery stools as well. So loose bowel movements and watery bowel movements. And particularly if the cold is in your kidneys, you'll have frequent and pale urination. And when we say frequent, we mean annoyingly frequent, rushing off to the loo every 10 minutes. So all of those symptoms can help us understand that somebody is yang deficient. Yang essentially is a Chinese word for heat in Chinese medicine. So what we need to do to treat yang deficiency is to reduce cold and increase warm. So especially in the winter, try to avoid eating cold foods and raw foods. Your instinct probably tells you this. There's probably not that many people who are making up big salads and feeling like having a cold meal in the winter. But it can be difficult when we're bombarded with lots of different information from other nutritional sources and dietary sources, and the latest diet that the Kardashians are doing. We can get so many mixed messages. But Chinese medicine's fundamental principle is follow what's happening in nature. So reduce cold and raw food in the winter. That will help to reduce the amount of cold that goes inside us, and so it's easier to then fend off the cold environment because at least we're kept warm inside. And we can warm foods by both cooking them and eating them warm, but also preparation methods. So the longer you cook something, the more heat it will absorb and the more yang it will become. So during the winter time and at this time of year, try to eat more slow cooked foods and less cold and steamed and quick cook foods. Tonifying yang can also come from what type of foods we eat. Luckily, sweet flavors are tonifying for yang, but also pungent flavors. Now, we do have to be careful with sweet, so I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. If you are going to drink cold drinks, ideally avoid them being ice cold during this time of year. We have enough cold to deal with. Cold weather, cold environment, cold seasons. Let's not make ourselves internally cold as well. So avoid cold drinks, but always avoid drinking large amounts of liquids with food, with meals. Our stomach has to be the hottest place in our body to break down food and churn it into digestive liquids. So it needs a lot of heat, it needs a lot of energy to do that. If we drink a lot of liquid while we're eating, we actually put that heat out a little bit. Now our stomach gets too liquidy and it can't break the food down. Western science explains that by saying it's stomach acid gets diluted. Chinese medicine says exactly the same thing, we just use different language. We say that the stomach yang gets subdued. So when you certainly in China, when I was in China, it was extremely cold. I was there in November. I just missed the ice festival, which was a shame. I was there a little bit early for that. But it was a perfect example of yang nourishing practices, because whenever we would eat, we would not be served with cold drinks. You could not get a cold drink, which is great for me. We would be served with a lovely pot of hot, sweet tea, and little teacups that just encourage you to drink a sip rather than large bucket loads of cold drinks, as the Western world does. When you're tonifying yang with food, I chuckled when I mentioned sweet flavors. It's true, sweet flavors do tonify yang, but it has to be the right kind of sweet. So try to avoid overconsumption of fats and carbohydrates, because they don't give us any yang at all. They unfortunately just give us dampness and phlegm, which tends to constrict the body even more. Still, Western nutritional science is very valid, very important, and a good wide range of fruits and vegetables is fundamental to Chinese medicine. When I teach food energetics, I always say everything in moderation. That is Chinese medicine 101. We don't like extremes. So absolutely, during the winter time, do keep consuming fruit, do keep consuming water, but just make sure that they're slightly warmed. So you could cook your fruit, have a fruit compote, have a baked apple. You can warm it up with some herbs and some spices as well. And your dried fruit will be warmer, energetically, will be warmer than fresh fruit. Again, if you're going to use fresh fruit, just avoid keeping it in the fridge. Eat it at room temperature. So sweet flavors really help to nourish qi and nourish yang. Qi and yang belong to the same house. Qi is energy, yang is warmth. Well, I think we can all understand how the warmer we feel, the more energetic we feel. So sweet flavors help to nourish qi, and it's what we call a full sweet. So full sweet is yang tonifying and strengthening. Now, full sweet is something that is naturally sweet flavored. Unfortunately for us all, that does not include baked goods. Absolutely, a slice of cake with your coffee is going to make you feel better. And by feeling good in ourselves, by nourishing our heart, we help to nourish qi and yang. But when we talk about consuming sweet flavors, we don't mean white sugar, we don't mean processed sweets, we do mean naturally sweet flavors. And like I said, everything in moderation. That helps to tonify our qi. If we eat too much of something, our body becomes very sluggish very quickly. And particularly with sweet flavors, if we eat too much of it, it creates dampness, it creates phlegm, and that obstructs the flow of qi. So we might think we're making it, but we're at the same time stopping it from circulating around. Pungent foods are really important to bring in when tonifying, because they really help to promote circulation. So imagine that you were a farmer and you were growing all of these beautiful vegetables. If you didn't distribute them, then you wouldn't be able to eat them yourself. There would be too many, and then they'd go to waste. So the body behaves in exactly the same way. If we're making something, we must make sure that we get that moving as well. Otherwise it will stagnate, it will become obstructed, and then we'll feel worse, not better. So pungent flavors give us an outwards and an upwards action. They allow our body to really expand and to use the energy that we're building. There's lots of pungent categories, but warm pungent is particularly the best to aim for. It's the longer lasting, it gives the longer lasting effect of movement, and it really helps to benefit cold conditions. So think about last time you had a cold and you felt shivery and you had a headache and you were really, really cold inside. You would have probably instinctively gone for a cinnamon chai tea, or some hot ginger and spring onion soup. That is using pungent, warm foods to help to move our qi circulation and nourish our yang. Always, again, everything in moderation. If we keep things moving too much, we never get the chance to build up. So if we use pungent foods excessively, then our body becomes overstimulated. We end up exhausting our qi. It's like we've put our body into that treadmill and we've turned the speed up to max and we're not letting it get off. So these are the flavors that we want to aim for at this time of year to help to build up our yang, to help to get our body out of that winter slumber and invigorate some movement and some activity again. Now, there are lots of naturally occurring sweet flavors and pungent flavors, but these are some of my favorite selections. Honey is a phenomenal natural food. I actually read recently that honey is the only food that will never decay, which I think is fascinating. Now, honey, of course, if you can eat local honey to you, that's going to give you even more benefits because you're getting the local qi from your environment. So it helps you to build up an immunity to natural pollens and natural grasses, natural allergens. But also, like I said, it has more qi, more energy inherently to it because it's more alive. It hasn't traveled. It hasn't been processed too much. Naturally sweet flavors, of course, are sweet potatoes, and actually all root vegetables. Carrots, parsnips are a fantastic qi and yang nourishing food. Really easy. In fact, I will often get lots of little baby parsnips. I will roast them in the oven. Roasting is a slow cooking method, so it helps to put more yang into the body, into the food, I should say, and then ultimately into our body. So I get lots of baby parsnips. I slow roast them, and sometimes I'll sprinkle some nutmeg on them. Sometimes I'll sprinkle some ginger or some mustard powder, whatever the mood I'm in. And then I'll keep them in my fridge as snacks. Other people might snack on potato chips and biscuits. I will much more be happy if I'm snacking on parsnips because it gives me that sweet, warm qi and yang building food. But it's easy to digest because it's been slow roasted. So all root vegetables, beets, carrots, cabbage, and if you're going to use grains, try to use whole grains. When they're whole, they have a lot more sweetness to them than when they've been processed. Now, of course, like I said, a piece of cake with your coffee, of course, is going to make you feel well. Everybody feels better for that. So, I'm not, if somebody offers me a piece of cake, I'm not going to say, oh, no, I'm sorry, I'd rather have a parsnip. Yes, I'll take the cake as well. But we need to make sure that processed sweets are very, very small doses because they don't really offer us a lot of nourishment. So with your naturally sweet flavors, try to bring some pungency into that to get that warmth and to get that qi moving. And you can do that with any of these herbs and spices. Now, the key here is warmth, not heat. So trying to avoid really hot, really spicy foods, they will actually exhaust yang because they will send yang out too excessively and make us sweat to cool us down. So to nourish our yang, we want to use warming foods, but we need to keep that warmth inside. We can target that yang down to the kidneys a little bit by eating more water element foods, which are seafoods. Anything that comes out of the water will nourish our water. So all seafoods, and also anything that is black or blue in color. So black beans are a fantastic kidney tonic. as is black pepper as well. Juniper seeds and raspberries are really helpful for kidney yang as well. Now, chicken, you'll notice, will be on a lot of these lists. Chicken is a fantastic qi tonic. It is a wonderful recuperator. I think every culture across the world has a recipe that involves chicken to nourish you if you've been unwell. That's because it really helps to build our qi. And if you add some warmth into that, then it will help to build qi and yang together. So chicken and cinnamon is it's a typical combination of Mexican cultures and First Nations cultures. And they even add chocolate into that as well. So that's another great way to tonify your qi and your yang. But a lot of these are staple ingredients of any household. Store cupboard: garlic, onions, rosemary, black pepper, ginger. They're not hard to find. So Chinese medicine, one thing I really love about Chinese medicine is its accessibility. Everybody can use it, no matter how much training you have, no matter what your background is. If, as I said, if you understand yin and yang, you can understand how to live in harmony with your environment. Now, spleen yang is our digestive fire. It's our fire in our belly. It's our ability to break food down and turn it into useful nutrition. So the spleen loves soft and warm foods, anything that's easy to digest. It will love you for drinking soups right now. And if you make soups out of your sweet foods like carrots, like sweet potatoes, like beets, then that's an even better way to nourish your spleen yang. Chestnuts are a fantastic addition to spleen yang tonics. Now, chestnuts can be a product that's quite hard to use for somebody in not familiar to Chinese cooking. They're used a lot in Chinese cooking and Asian cooking. But what I love to do with chestnuts is put them into that soup. Then I don't have to think about what works with them, how do I cook them, how do I prepare them. I just buy some chestnut paste and I put it into my soup, and it just adds that little bit of sweetness, but it adds a huge amount of nourishment. Jasmine as well is a fantastic sweet flavor. You can have jasmine tea, you can cook your rice in jasmine tea, you can cook your oats in jasmine tea. It's so easy to incorporate these tonics. So you've heard me talk about qi as well as yang. At this time of year, we have our qi is at our lowest. You're probably all feeling a little bit tired. It's harder to get up in the morning. We're, a bit more sluggish during the day. Everything is a bit of a slog at the moment. That's because it's this time of year. We're at our lowest point of qi. So use food energetics right now to help to nourish your qi so that you've got the energy to move through into a different season. Qi is yang. They both live in the same house. Like I said, qi is energy and yang is warmth. Any physicist will tell you that you need energy to create heat. So foods that steadily release energy into our body, foods that are really strong qi nourishers but slow to break down, will give us qi for a longer time. Western nutrition science says that this is complex carbohydrates give you sustained energy. A lot of Olympic athletes, they say that they eat a gigantic bowl of pasta before their competition to give them that sustained energy. Well, you don't have to be an athlete to do that. Obviously, eat in moderation. If you're not going to burn that energy, don't eat a giant bowl of pasta, but do try to eat qi nourishing foods. The easiest way to do this is eat locally and seasonally. The less miles your food has had to travel to get to you, the more alive, the more energy it has, and it will give to you. If any of you do grow your own vegetables, you'll know the difference in flavor between a vegetable you've grown in your garden and a vegetable that you've bought in the grocery store that was grown in a warehouse somewhere else a million miles away. It's two completely different products. What you feel, what you taste there, what you experience is the qi. So try to eat locally, try to eat foods that are minimally processed and are as close to their original form as possible. And this does avoid a lot of microwave cooking. Microwaves, of course, have a convenience, but they do kill qi. So if you're particularly qi deficient, you will notice how undernourished you feel by eating microwave cooked food. So, how to tonify our qi? Well, remember that digestion takes energy. According to Chinese medicine theory, our spleen breaks our food down and turns it into qi. But that's not a free process. It requires qi to make qi. So if we can eat food that takes as little breaking down as possible, then our body will be able to maximize its gains and minimize its expenditures. So soups and stews, soft and warm, naturally sweet. If you remember those words, you will easily be able to use food to tonify your qi. And there's one thing I want you all to remember, that making dietary changes and using food energetics to build up qi and yang, it takes perseverance. And perseverance is exactly the title of this beautiful painting of a tiger from a Japanese martial artist. So food energetics is one of my favorite ways to incorporate traditional Chinese medicine into everyday lifestyles, but it has to be every day. You won't suddenly be full of yang after one day or even 1 week of yang tonifying foods. And it's really easy to have a peak of energy, feel great, use all that energy, think, oh great, I'm fixed now, use it all, and then get back to square one. So food energetics needs to be an everyday approach. And I would say from this time of year up until when early summer is really established, that period of time is when we need to just constantly think about working with food, with lifestyle, to try to build up our qi and our yang, haul ourselves out of hibernation gently so that it's not a huge traumatic shock to the body. So start now to prepare yourself for a fantastic summer. During the summer, make sure you're outside being as tigery as possible, being energetic, being courageous, just being a dynamic character. Build up your yang now to continue your yang over the summer to get you through next winter. So we always have to think ahead, and we always just have to keep on going. So hopefully you've enjoyed my little presentation on food energetics. I hope that it's given you something to think about, and most importantly, given you something that you can use at home to start to build up your yang now. If you have any questions, please do unmute yourself or pop them into chat. Of course, you can contact me at CCA-TCM if you'd like some more information. Thank you.
Lucy, thank you so much. Lucy Griffiths from CCA-TCM. Really fantastic. Interesting how both of our speakers so far have really touched upon the importance and the ease of building our health to prevent illness rather than the more laborious task of restoring health that has been lost. And our next speaker is Dr. Diana Tong Lee, who is also going to continue a very similar theme. I'd like to share my screen to introduce Dr. Diana Tong Lee. Dr. Diana Tong Lee is the founder and president of the Canadian College of Acupuncture and Traditional Chinese Medicine, CCA-TCM. She is the vice president of the Chinese Medicine and Acupuncture Association of Canada, as well as the president of the Nova Scotia chapter of CMAAC. She is also an executive committee member of the World Federation of Acupuncture Moxibustion Societies. That is a very short biography of Dr. Lee. Dr. Lee brings so many years of experience and really passion for traditional Chinese medicine and teaching. And we're so grateful to have Dr. Lee as our teacher at the college and here today presenting Meridian Acupressure massage for enhancing immunity to prevent illness. Dr. Lee, I'll turn the presentation over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. And let me finding my PowerPoints. Just one moment. Can you give me the opportunity to do sharing? Okay.
Dr. Lee, I have stopped sharing. You should have, yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Can
we
you
see that.
see
Thank
that?
you. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, how I can make it bigger? Let me just try to. Is that clear or I should make it bigger?
I can see that.
Okay.
If you can't see how to make it bigger easily, that's okay. We can see that.
Okay, that's great. And I will start my topic today, is Meridian Acupressure for enhancing immunity or preventing disease. The reason I choose the topic is because of the COVID time, people, immunity actually is one of the best way to against all illness, not only for COVID-19. So I hope this topic can helping someone may be interested in that area, want to learn even for self-healing or become practitioner in the future. And there's a little information about me. And I want to start why and how Meridian massage, development there. And putting that way is I love massage. And when I fly to anywhere, go China, when I landing, settle down in the hotel first since I do, I looking for either reflexology or twin arm massage because I believe with the sitting there airplane for 13 hours, the chi and the blood in the meridian all stagnation. I need to through twin arm massage or reflexology, make the meridian energy flow again so I can concentrate next day, can full of energy to work. So I actually try all the massage everywhere, and I can see if I try hundreds of massage that even there I go everywhere, try different type of massage. I always finding they missing something. No matter where I go, they're missing something. They don't follow this. They just massage on your muscle, ligaments, and some they claim themselves do acupressure meridian, but they don't follow meridian flow. With the teaching as the instructor, as the teaching and acupuncture meridian for years, I know I need something to showing people how to do better meridian massage. And so this is one of the reason. Also, another reason is we teaching in the school and the student learn meridian. We have a book of a meridian book, and the very student learning very hard, try to memorize all the meridian. So they got a good mark, turn around, they forget. So this serious study, just a serious study for exam, they didn't make them alive. So we wanted this developing some hang-on practice. So make a series study become a life. So that's another reason we're developing this Meridian massage. The third reason is for years I, Dr. Chen, we practiced more than 40 years in clinic, treating patients every day. I have seen we treating thousands of patients. Even with the thousands of treatment giving out, still Meridian is one of the foundation we use into our diagnosis too. And so we want our students to learn the best possible way understanding Meridian so they can share their knowledge with their patient, how the patient diagnose the patient, give the better diagnosis to not only tongue and the pulse diagnosis, also adding Meridian diagnosis, so make our student become a better practitioner. So that's all the reason why we developing the Meridian massage there. So not only that, this one thing is in our school in here, we are developing all 5 type of massage, from level 1 to relaxation massage. Dr. Chen teaching some manually, but we have a whole set of Meridian massage to helping students at the very beginning into school to learn how to choose acupuncture points, choose and feel the meridians, feel acupuncture points, feel the human energy to become better healer. Also helping patients with manage stress, treating insomnia, anxiety. So they do a great job there too. And they also have a special for pain condition, and the Meridian massage is a really key sense we're proud of for the, no matter from treatment, receiving or giving, also for the student learning. And of course, they have for common illness. And one more thing is acupressure for facial rejuvenation. This is a topic area for students really enjoy. So you can see for this become one of our course in our Canadian College acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine. We base it on the Meridian, based on the acupuncture points to treating the patient.
Dr. Lee, I'm sorry. If you can hit the slideshow button at the top right of your screen, we should be able to see it even bigger.
Top right.
Yeah, right there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Wonderful. So, to understanding Meridian massage, first one you want to know what is a Meridian. In traditional Chinese medicine, Meridian is a very, very foundation of traditional Chinese medicine. And no matter to build up immunity, no matter to treating all illness, you need to know meridians. And I think even normal people, when you're understanding meridian, will give you a better opportunity to know your body better and know your condition better and know healing better. So then what is a meridian? Meridian in traditional Chinese medicine say, there's a 2 part, Jing and the Lu, mean meridian and the collateral. And that is a pathway of qi and the blood. And they are connecting like an internal organ. They're connecting internal, external, connecting together. Traditional Chinese medicine is not just a medicine, they also is a completed the medical system. So they combine internal, external, combine together, human with nature combine together, and internal combine together, mind body combine together. So they are is a whole, as a whole holistic or whole medicine to helping people. So this is why, and meridian sometimes is like a new knowledge to Western culture, but in China or in other Chinese traditional Chinese medicine practitioner, meridian is a foundation to learn. To learn meridian is very complicated. So this, you know, the meridian system, they have a meridian, they have a, you know, all the system to showing there, and I translation to English too small to read. But this one, and you know, the meridian system, they have a meridian, claudal. This is the most important meridian, the 12 regular meridian. And we wanted to showing what is the 12 regular meridian. You know, you can see 12 regular meridian all relate with the internal organ. So later on, I'll be showing you what the meridian look like. So you can see major organ, every major organ have a meridian, related meridian. And I also have a, you know, Rendu meridian, some other meridian can combine together. 12 regular meridian is one of a major meridian. There are 4 meridian make a circle. They from internal go external, from lung meridian connecting to larger meridian to stomach meridian, go back to from spleen meridian, go back in internal organ again. So you can see 4 meridian make a from internal go external, make a circle, go back in internal. So we have a from 12 meridian, we make all 3 circle completely like a meridian circle. So then right now I want to showing you there's a lung meridian. Very interesting that the lung meridian you can see. This one is your lung in traditional Chinese medicine belong to metal element, also relieve the larger intestines. You can see this is lung meridian. This is a common meridian, and because they belong to metal element, from 2020, 2021, these 2 years in traditional like I Ching, all this traditional Asian understanding, this belong to metal element. So metal element in traditional Chinese medicine, the yin organ, the lung, yang organ, larger intestines, relate with the skin. So in 2020, 2021, for the 2 years, because they are metal year, what the illness and in control for these 2 years, and stop of and the change of a word I should say, and is you know, COVID-19, where COVID-19, which organ they are affecting to majorly is the lung. So that's why traditional Chinese medicine is strongly believe, you know, human is a part of nature. If they are metal year, everything related with the lung, large intense skin, there's 3 organs be most involved there. And so this is one of the reasons, major meridian. We're working on this 2 years, no matter treating patient or receiving treatment ourselves, we're working on the lung meridian a lot. Excuse me. So you can see from lung meridian, they connecting from the internal go to the hand. So second one, larger intense meridian from hand to the face. So they make a connection on the finger. So that's called larger intense meridian. This is why when we're treating patient with a digestive system issue, constipation, diarrhea, irritable bowel syndrome, we're working on the arm. A lot of patients wonder why you're working on the arm, because this is a meridian large intense belong to. When they reach to the face, they will connecting with the larger intestines meridian. So there's a larger intestines meridian. So from face, go down to the front, then face to the feet. At the feet there, which are connecting with the spleen meridian. From feet, go to internal organ again. And you know, because you can see that part there, they have one branch go to the heart. So if you remember the PowerPoint before, Second meridian start from the heart. All the meridian, human being is every energy connecting with each other. They like a big circle to connecting all the internal, external energy together. So look at this heart meridian. It's a heart meridian. After they connecting, there's a small branch down to small intestines. Then from here, they down to the small finger. Very important in here, you can see this one have a branch go to the eye. This is a heart meridian, you know, a lot of times when people worry too much, sad too much, or really hitting the heart is the housing of the mind, they will affecting the eye. And in traditional Chinese medicine, always belong to believe heart is one of a major organ related with mental health, related with all this emotional issue. And so in recently 2 years, included this year, I think 3 years in a row, our world changed too much with the COVID-19. So a lot of depression, mental health, anxiety, stress, and the anger, everything related with our related the internal organs disorder of balance. They believe mind affecting emotion, mind affecting body, body change affecting mind. So there are relationship there too. And so you can see this is one of the major issue in here. This is second organ is important in this 2 or 3 years affecting by COVID-19. So you can see after reach to this small finger connection. So the small intestines connecting, go here, connecting to the eye with the bladder meridian. So, okay, small intestines, yeah. So we meet, sorry, there's a PowerPoint. That's when the bladder meridian. Bladder meridian from the eye, go down, cover all the back, go down to the feet, and then connecting to the kidney meridian. Kidney meridian from feet go back to internal organ again. So that complete the second cycle of the meridian. This one there, then when they're getting in, that is a like a pericardial meridian, we call Xinbao meridian, heart protector meridian. From the internal, go to the hand, then connecting with the Sanjiao meridian from hand to the head, then connecting with the gallbladder meridian from this feet, go up. Yeah, then they from top of the head go down, then connecting with the like a liver meridian from feet go up. So you can see they completing the third cycle meridian. With the other meridian, our meridian massage is working on these other meridians there. You can see this meridian in the circle there. So our meridian massage development is follow this practitioner, follow this meridian from beginning, working on first cycle, then go to second cycle. So this is a meridian massage, you know, like introduction there. We're working on each meridian. And the purpose of this meridian massage is whether you see this understanding internally, you will know for each massages working on the meridian, they can regulate the internal organs function. They can, through the internal organs, regular balance, can build up immunity, can build up a body ability, can treating illness, because each organ have a disease. Through meridian massage can be treating this different illness there. And we developing the system to beneficial for the student, beneficial for the public, beneficial for the patient. This one, because they don't need a lot of background. There's acupressure massage. So we open this course to all the public to learn so they can helping for self-interest. So they can learn that meridian massage to helping themselves, to helping, even do something for their children, just maintaining, make them feel better, to balance the yin yang, regulate the qi and the blood flow. And, for students, they can learn meridian flowing better, but mostly for us, for all the TCM practitioner, they can do TCM diagnose. So as a qualified acupuncture practitioner, when you go to see a practitioner, when you say you have a shoulder pain, they not just say, oh, you are maybe ligaments. They don't think just a ligament, the muscle, or your leg aching pain. They thinking beyond that. They want they want to see which meridian that belong to. And, this meridian have a disorder of balance. And maybe this relieve the internal organ. They not just muscle aching, not just ligaments, or not just injury, not just joint pain. They maybe relieve the internal organ. They have a hiding cause. So that's why meridian massage is really good for into TCM diagnosis. And, we have working a lot from this practitioner point of view, or you want to learn point of view, either you can remove your clothes to the comfortable level. We start from face up, then working meridian by meridian. So, there's a really amazing acupressure meridian massage. The total is 90 minutes of treatment. We student offer to patient, to public, and we keep on learning. They can working on each other on that. So you never know you don't feeling well, or you have some hiding problem. When you're receiving meridian massage, when they're working on meridian, you right away you're not perfect. You have some disorder, you have some condition, but you don't know yet, or they didn't develop serious enough for you, or for our hospital CT scan or any X-ray can picking up yet, because they in early stage of the illness or early stage of the condition. So this one thing, if you have an opportunity to learn or to receiving, then you will know this condition, a lot of condition can be, can be diagnosed in the early stage through traditional meridian massage. So then this movement is pretty simple. They mostly use a hand, thumb, palm, finger. So you don't need any tool, don't need anything, and you just need your hand. And I think one day we have an international conference with a Western medicine doctor, traditional Chinese medicine doctor. They start to have little arguments. One doctor standing up to see, to checking your best, what the Western medicine can do, what the acupuncturists can do. You can see if without any technology, without the machine, without anything, and you have a patient in front of you, all the patient in front of you, what you can do. So that's one, this will make there with Western medicine, they rely on technology, rely on machine, they rely on medication. If that day with something happening that time without the medication, the Western medicine doctor not too much, they can helping their patient. But with the TCM practitioner or acupuncturist, they can just use a hand, start the best possible way to treating patient. So this is one thing be really good way to learning. So this one thing with the meridian massage there to make the system getting better. They will always do some easy way is say hello, yin diagnose, and diagnose each meridian. You can feel this like a deficiency feeling, stagnation feeling, like a sandy feeling or not. After that diagnosis, you can treating the patient, use different movements and the different massage technique, twin technique, working on that area to breaking up the stagnation. Then same time, nutrient regulate internal organ. After you finish, you recess again, you can feel they actually a lot of stagnation, a lot of pain through this your movement, through the treatment. They getting smaller, getting disappear. So your patient feel much better. So this is a partially really great treatment. At the ending, you're leading all your energy from one meridian leading to another meridian. So this in general meridian massage do for the patient, and or for the you exchange your treatment with each other. For this course, we actually offer in April, I think the middle of April 10th, like the Wednesday, Tuesday afternoon, Friday afternoon, offer to our 2 second-year student and the first-year student and then also open to the public to learn this meridian and learn how to diagnose the patient, how to healing the patient, how to practice the 90 minutes meridian massage to helping patient to healing. So this is a lot of technology we're working on. And so this one thing, the different technique we can helping. So this is a cycle one, or this meridian. If you can pay attention, lung is a metal element. So they use a metal color. Stomach, spleen is earth element. We use a yellow color. And so this meridian, you can see is a really amazing meridian from lung to start, then in translation to energy connecting with the large intestines, then connection with the stomach, then connection with the spleen. The spleen go to internal organ, then they transfer this energy to the heart. Then from heart to small intestines, they from internal to hand to the head to the toe to back to internal organ again. In the internal organ, they connecting to the heart protecting, like a pericardium meridian. Then from internal to the hand to the head to the toe to internal organ again. In the liver to the internal organ, they have an internal branch, go back to the lung. You can see meridian energy flow is like a blood flow. They never stop. They continue flow, and but they can have a stagnation. So when the stagnation will cause disease. So traditional Chinese medicine believe your human being yin yang should be at the best as a possible balance. When yin yang falling off of balance, disease development. Meridian, qi and the blood flow in the meridian should be flow freely. When there's stagnation, blockage, the disease development. So it's very simple. And Western medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, have a connection because our blood flow is exactly the same thing too, right? The blood continue circling, and energy flow, qi and the blood in the meridian flow is continue floating and never stop. You can check in blood flow, but the energy meridian flow, the meridian only exists within the human body when they are life, vitality. They can check in. When people die, that meridian, you cannot check in the flow anymore because they don't have energy, don't have a qi anymore. So this one thing the difference between traditional Chinese medicine and with the Western medicine. So meridian is one of the major all foundation for us. And so this one thing with this detail, we will go into, each circle, how we can do meridian from lung to start to the hand, and from hand to the head, and then we go into step-by-step massage to go up. After we finish one side, we go to another side to massage. So leading them to internal, back to cycle 2, to working on from one meridian, step by step. We working, teaching students, teaching people how to do all the meridian massages step by step to go in. Then we're leading to the third cycle of meridian massage, to helping this person to learning better, to practice better. So to make your understanding easier, so they see the yin and the yang. Male is the yang, female is the yin. So we do step by step meridian massage, the 3 cycle of them, and to make sure, each cycle, each internal organ, all be taken care of, all be treated, all be regulated through this treatment. Like a massage in 90 minutes. So this, in traditional Chinese medicine, we always balance the practitioner's energy with your patient's energy first. So always be practice first. And so we, in step by step, make easier to understanding. We draw this map up, and started to practice. When you're in the program, you can learning better. And this is how to do long meridian, how to do larger intensive meridian, how to do stomach meridian, and how to working on the spleen meridian. So step by step, we teaching people. Idea is, I don't know our, people attending this workshop, you want your foundation. What is your foundation? Do you want to just learn a basic knowledge, or you want as a patient receiving? So either way, this meridian massage be beneficial for you. No matter you want the future, want the self-healing to do something, or you as a student to learn to diagnose, or as a patient to receiving. So that's the meridian massage will be after our student learning. I think this summer we will open for public to receiving that treatment, 90 minutes treatment. This is one of the, if you like a massage, you like a human massage, enjoy receiving massage therapy, no matter Swedish or Chinese or Thai massage, then you should try meridian massage, because they are total different, and they're so beneficial for your internal organ, not just for relaxation, have a massage, have a relaxation, muscle relaxed. Actually, all your internal organ regulate the balance. Is a really, really amazing treatment that we have. And so this actually a lot of artwork completed by my student there. So like idea is this, mostly we talking about the meridian massage is because in this 2 years, so many people have a immunity. We feel immunity is one of the most important for all human beings, because I just reading a lot of news from this medical society, send a lot of email to others. They don't believe COVID will be ending very soon. They maybe last a little while. Against any illness, your immunity is one of the best for preventing condition, preventing disease. Mostly any disease, you have to rely at the bottom of the line is your body, how your immunity can be stronger, how your internal regulate or not, how your meridian, can energy, qi and the blood flow freely. Without that, all the medication is now won't be working good. So you need your own system. This is the foundation of the healing. So that's why my topic just is a little bit beyond just self-healing, but is really good. If you wish to learn this course available, you can learn at least can for something you can do on the self-healing to helping yourself, helping all your families. That'd be great. There's Meridian healing there. So if
Dr.
you have
Lee,
any
oh,
question,
sorry.
we can ask, I'd be glad to answer. I know my time is over.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lee. I think in the interest of time, if you can direct questions directly to CCA TCM, maybe we go that route so that we can keep on moving and try to catch up even a little bit. But I just thank you so much, Dr. Lee, for your presentation. And I just personally am so thankful and have so much gratitude for your work and your teaching. And this is just the tip of that. I have studied massage with you, and I say from personal experience that this is a life-changing course and work. Thank you so much, Dr. Lee.
Thank you.
I would like to introduce our next speaker, moving on. So our next speaker is Dr. Franklin Shi Chen. And Dr. Chen is the chairman of the Canadian College of Acupuncture and Traditional Chinese Medicine, a medical expert at the Natural Medicine Center, and president of the Acupuncture and Naturopathy Association of Nova Scotia since 1993. He also serves as vice chairman of the Specialty Committee of Trocare of World Federation of Chinese Medicine Societies, and is the director of the Specialty Committee of Medicated Diet and Diet Therapy of WFCMS. And the topic today that Dr. Chen will be speaking on is mental health care with self-healing acupressure. So without further ado, thank you for your presenting today, Dr. Chen. I turn the presentation over to you.
Thank you very much. It's a great opportunity to share some of my experience to treating mental illness. My topic is the mental health care with self-healing acupressure. When you look in the topic mental health, you're thinking it's very common in our daily life. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. Also, it determines how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choice. Mental health is very important at every stage of life. But one thing is very interesting is when I have over 30 years clinic practice here in Nova Scotia, but daily life, we see so many patients come to see me. Most time they come is for pain condition. For example, like a migraine headache or digestive system problem, diarrhea, constipation, IBS. Not too many people coming for mental health problem. Then there is a problem here. When people told you they have a IBS or PMS, migraine headache, they say, oh, you should go to see a doctor. But when people told you they don't feel well, like a fatigue insomnia, or mood swing, you don't thinking they have some problem. You say, oh, positive thinking, just go home, drink water, get some sleep. That's not enough care. The research shows if 5 people, at least 1 people is suffering from mental health problem. You see the number? Even just in UK, over a few million people have certain degree of mental health problem. And that's indicate in this society, we need to pay more attention to our mental health issue. Over the course of life, you experience mental health problem, your thinking, your mood swing, or behavior could be affected. Certain people will do some really dangerous things, affect other people, because they don't search for medical care at the very early stage of the mental health problem. If they realize it's really a big issue, is really an illness, the whole society will pay more attention to those people, told them you should see doctor, not stay home by yourself, to causing the problem getting worse and worse. Everyone know February blue, this name, right? February blue means in winter time, we don't have enough sunshine. We stay home more often. We experience a lot of anxiety, depression more. Especially the pandemic have been over 2 years now. You cannot go outside to enjoy the movie. You cannot go outside to talk to your friends, have a lot of social activities. You're isolated at home. This will causing more mental health problems, such as anxiety, depression. When people ask how many people have depression, in USA it's more than 6 million people, depression. In Canada, should be more than 2 million people are depression. But how many people come to see doctor looking for, the only doctor give you a medication, a pill. You take pill at home. But some people refuse. They're thinking certain depression medication will causing side effect on the physical body. They don't take it. Then what you can do? Then just today I'm talking acupressure, acupuncture, a natural way to treating depression. Okay. So you're thinking how many people actually have the mental health problem? The research shows every 5 people, there's 1 person, certain degree mental problem. But when you look in yourself, from the childhood to high school to now, you have certain degree, certain time, certain stage, you have mental health problem. For myself, I say yes. Sometimes I'm a mood swing, sometimes I'm really upset, sometimes I don't have a good sleep, sometimes I'm fatigued. Those are all the early signs of mental health problem. You have to realize it is the illness. It's not, it is. That's not normal. You cannot tell people, okay, only thinking better, that's it. Thinking positive, not enough. Because the problem could be getting very severe if you don't get early stage treatment or you don't know how to treat yourself. Some sign of mental problem Eating or sleeping too much or too little. Eating disorder. Some people experience depression. They eat chocolate all the time, or they're overeating. Gain weight. When they gain weight, they have more depression, more. And then those people, they're putting away from people. They isolate themselves. They stay home. They don't want to talk to people. Or they may experience some low energy. Or have some explanation, aching or pain. They're losing the hope in life. See, all those signs you have to look in. Do you have certain degree experience those signs in your lifetime? Or certain time? Do you feel confused? Forget things easily? People say foggy head. Some people say they're driving here, the mechanic, the backwards to see me. Instead of coming here, they're driving to the airport, then turn around. Oh, I had to see Dr. Chen and turn back. They're driving two times. Forget things easily. Anger, upset easily, worry a lot. Chinese medicine thinking whenever you worry too much, you'll not enjoy the food anymore. Even eating the food is indigested, very hard to digest. So more worry, you have more weak digestive system. You have more weak digestive system, the food is not transforming into energy for you. And you are getting more fatigue. When you have more fatigue, you low immunity. When you have low immunity, you may easily catch cold or you may get sickness easily. You see, turn around. Whenever you anger too much, blockage the energy flow on the liver chi stagnation, we causing chest pain, causing blood circulation problem. See? Whenever you have always forget, confused, then you are losing the confidence on yourself. You are getting easily to fighting with your family members, friends. You think you are not yourself anymore. You experience some severe mood swing. That's causing problem in the relationship. How to make you happy? You need a good, homely relationship. See, if you can stop this kind of a mood swing, a severe mood swing, you may can avoid divorce, avoid bad relationship with your parents or with your children. You know, the relationship is the #1 stress. When you list the number 1 to 10 stress level, relationship is the #1. Affect people's happiness. And you may suddenly hear a voice, or even so severe, thinking to harm yourself. For others, a lot of crime can be stopped. If those people have been treated by doctor properly, early stage. Some people harming other people because they are suffering with a mental health problem. They don't receive treatment at early stage. That's causing this society, certain area, a certain time is too dangerous to live because those danger people didn't receive attention, don't receive treatment from the professional early stage. See? And then when you have those mental health problems, you feel really hard to perform daily activity, daily task. You on the computer, you can finish article in 1 hour, but you're sitting on the computer, you can finish article for more than 10 hours. See, you just lost those kind of concentration, those abilities to treating things, to handle things better. When I list those signs, you may feel certain time you may have those problems, right? So those one we had to pay attention to ourselves. Then we're talking about acupressure, how to use acupressure to treating. Because in order to save the time, I don't want to talk too much about the acupressure, but Dr. Lee have shown you what is acupressure, what is the meridian system, how the energy flow, all those things Dr. Lee have introduced you the benefits of acupressure already. So I don't want to repeat again. I just simply say acupressure is part of the traditional Chinese medicine that practice involve treating blockage energy or the qi, the life force. Instead of acupuncture needle, they use the acupressure on those acupuncture points. Those acupuncture points are majorly located on the meridian system. Okay, meridian system is serving like an energy flow pathway through your body. And those meridian lines are linked, associated with different internal organs. See, you have to use a certain strength, fingertips, to pressure instead of needle. By improving the energy flow, acupressure is very effective in helping mental problems based on the kinetic studies. A lot of kinetic studies that prove it. We have helping hundreds of students to learn acupressure. And those students are helping this society use acupressure in the daily practice already. And that's the meridian line linked to different internal organs. Acupuncture point also used by acupressure needle both way. Meridian, those important. If you want to study acupressure, you have to study the meridian system. So I don't need to repeat. Dr. Lee showed you already. And then some acupuncture point we mostly use to treating depression or mental problem, such like yin tang, actual point on the third eye point, Sang Jiao, spring sex, Sengmen is the heart 7, related to the heart is the house of your mind, Bai Hui, 220, Lei Guang, PC6, Zhu Sang Li, stomach 36, in build up the immunity, Tai Chi also belong to kidney 3, Tai Chong liver 3. Okay, some Si Shen Chong, actual point. And then, for example, the heart 7 are located on your rest. Okay. And massage those points is good for your heart and to take the anxiety away. And then when you see the point is here, you see heart 7. This one, you hold one hand, hold another hand. Okay, massage those points. The third eye point, called yin tang. People third eye point, certain countries, they put the red dot on the third eye point. Easy to find, good for insomnia. Okay. This one is really controlled emotionally, insomnia. And then when you see the point is right here, you see, on the third eye point, right here, yin tang. Okay. Okay, PC6. PC6 is also, people use it to treating heartburn, nauseous, even seasick. All can be treated by this one, morning sickness, nauseous. Very good to the control that point. Okay. And then the then 17 is on the center of the chest. Okay. Just to take the tightness away. Okay. Good for your breathing. Good for your air breathing on your chest area. 220 is just on the top of the head. It's good for anxiety and good for depression. You see the point, Chinese name the 100 meeting point. There's a lot of energy storage there on the top of the head. See, on the top of the head. So right on the top of the head. GB20. So those one I repeat already beginning. Those are all the general condition when people have a mental problem, they experience those insomnia, trouble focusing, fatigue, inability to control feelings, fear, worry too much. Some other symptoms, heart palpitation, sweating, short breath, fear, all those all relate to the mental health problem. When you realize, looking for self-healing acupressure or looking for the professional doctor to give you a right treatment. If you don't want to take medication, then come to looking for acupuncturist or Chinese doctor to give you acupressure. People, you know, original Chinese medicine thinking from the Yellow Emperor classical book, our body was really affected by heaven and the earth. We are just between the heaven and the earth. Anything surround us affect our physical body. And then Chinese medicine that goes through the 5 elements. From the relationship of the 5 elements, we understand everything is connected. You cannot be separate. It cannot be separate. Especially emotionally. Different emotion really affect our different physical body. Emotional, just controlled by different feeling, anger, affect the liver. This joy is a 2x joy. Everyone needs joy. I told my students, each day live with joy, but this joy is too exciting joy. If it's too exciting joy, then causing the heart palpitation. Too exciting is not good. Worry, overthinking, affect the spring stomach. Grief, sadness, affect the lung, the breathing, then causing other problem, the loss in instant. Fear, affect the kidney, make your urgency, frequency urine. Then you have the ear ringing start. Ear, see? So if we have a strong kidney, have a strong will, you're not afraid of anything. That's very important. That's why you need a strong kidney, especially now. You're not afraid. And then you need exercise outdoor, sunshine, fresh air, helping you breathing better. And then you don't have stuffed nose, you have a better skin. You have stop worry. Then the food you eat every day can digest properly. The food can transform it into energy for you. You need a little bit joy, but don't too exciting. Then you don't have a heart problem. Don't give your surprise party to your grandma when you're 85 years old, have a heart hypertension. Think it's too exciting and not good for your grandparents. Anger, too anger. Your eyes not clear. When you're angry, you cannot see things clearly. See, the eye associated with anger. The color is not so clear. You have mood swing, too much. Liver, stress. Then you have a headache on the back of the neck, back of the head, because the gallbladder meridian, they travel to the back of the head. You have a headache. You don't know where the headache comes from. It's from the anger. See? So a lot of things I don't want to repeat anymore because the Dr. Lee talking about the acupressure benefits. I just talking about the relationship, kidney affect the liver, liver affect the heart, affect the spleen. Because the time is limited, so I don't want to talk anymore. That's enough for me. Acupressure is based on the Chinese medicine, meridian, qi, yin yang concept. It's very simple and effective way to treating mental disorder. It is more effective if it is treated by an experienced doctor of acupuncture, a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine. Some severe mental health problem is do need the treatment from acupuncture and the Chinese herb combined together to reach the best result. I hope everyone happy, joy, and no mental health problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chen. Your wealth of information and your commitment to TCM is so important and valuable to us right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'd like to move on to our next speaker. And Dr. Chen, if you can stop sharing your screen.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll move on to our next speaker. This is Professor David Dong Liu. David Dong Liu is professor at Georgian College's acupuncture program. In 2017, 18, and 19, David became a member of the Neurosciences Initiative Steering Committee. He has been teaching and practicing Tai Chi, Qigong, acupuncture, and functional rehabilitation exercises for over 20 years. In his clinical practice, David has been working with spinal cord injury and clients with bladder and bowel dysfunction. Acupuncture for concussion and Lyme disease recovery, he's worked with for over 10 years. David has also provided care as a team therapist to international caliber figure skaters at national and international competitions. David is active in research, focusing on the use of evidence-informed acupuncture practice to manage pain and the use of Tai Chi to promote mindfulness and physical well-being in community. David enjoys practicing Tai Chi and has competed both in Toronto national and international Tai Chi championships. David's commitment and passion for Qigong, Tai Chi, acupuncture, and traditional Chinese medicine earned him the Toronto International TCM Award for Acupuncture Development and Contribution Canada in October 2018. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. David Dong Liu, and we look forward to this presentation on Qigong and Tai Chi. I turn this over to you. Dr. Dong Liu, I think you're still muted.
Oh, thank you very much. And this is a real great privilege for me to teach, to share the information about the Qigong and the Tai Chi for health and wellness. But today is still in Chinese New Year, and I'm so excited for this Canada Traditional Chinese Medicine Festival 2022 from Toronto. And I wish everyone have a happy new year, have a good fortune and healthy in the Tiger year. So today we're going to talking about the Qigong and the Tai Chi for health and wellness. Let's talk in the concept of the Qigong. The Qigong is essence form of Chinese energy medicine and involve the four main branches of a traditional Chinese medicine, along with acupuncture, herbal medicine, tuina, and massage acupressure. Just Dr. Chen just mentioned. And the Qigong is a system coordinate to the body and the posture movement, breathing and meditation, use the purpose of the house, spirituality, and the martial arts training. With the root of a Chinese medicine and their Chinese medical philosophy and the martial art, the Qigong is traditionally viewed by Chinese throughout the region and all of the world at this moment. And we can translate the Qi is a life energy. And the Qigong practice typically involves moving meditation, coordinating the slow flow movement, deep rhythmic breathing, and a calm meditative state of the mind. People practice Qigong throughout China and all of the world and worldwide for the recreation, for exercise, relaxation, preventive medicine, or right now even called medical Qigong, self-healing, alternative medicine, meditation, self-cultivation, and the training for martial art. This is kind of the concept for Qigong. And another concept for Tai Chi is the internal Chinese martial arts practice for the defense training at the beginning. They have all the health benefits and the meditation, and right now we call medical Tai Chi in the Western world. So TCM Tai Chi is an all medical Tai Chi originally developed from the self-defense. Tai Chi involved into the very graceful the forms for exercise and now used for the stress reduction and a variety of other health conditions and the physical rehabilitations. The Tai Chi often described as a meditation in motion. So Tai Chi promote the serenity through the gentle, graceful, and the flowing movement. Tai Chi have many different styles. I will disable for the Tai Chi, the Chen style Tai Chi is from Henan province from China. So I'm carefully learning all the Tai Chi forms, but I also respect the other forms, there are 7 or 8 different other forms, and each styles may subtype or influence for various of the Tai Chi, the principle and the method. There are the variation within their each style, each forms, and some forms, some styles. For example, I'm doing right now is real for focus on the health maintenance, and other can be focused on the martial art or fitness of a Tai Chi. There are lots of research. About the Tai Chi, about the medical Qigong and the medical Tai Chi. The most significant research I found that today actually is a irritable bowel movement. There the research from Lisa Rung in the 2021. This scientist find that irregular bowel movement can be treated by exercise. We also know the irregular bowel movement, like a gas, can have a stress related, just like Dr. Chen said earlier. The irregular bowel movement also involve the alternative constipation, diarrhea, distended bowel, the pain, and the muscle spasms. From a Chinese medical medicine, the TCM deficiency can be considered the liver qi stagnation, the wood insulting the earth, or the damp heat or damp coldness in the lower jaw. So the Qigong is a real defined, the Qigong therapy or Qigong exercise can be treated the irregular bowel movement. This is research from 2021. Another greater research for the medical Qigong and the Tai Chi exercise, Qigong is a Qigong for fibromyalgia. The Susan in the 2021 have a real great research about the fibromyalgia. As we know, the fibromyalgia have a lot of vision problems, muscle pain, chest pain, muscle spasms. I see the reflex, even reproductive or urinary condition, skin condition, or difficult dysmenorrhea, jaw pain. And the most important is the central nervous system condition for fibromyalgia, depression, stress, and even for chronic headache, a sleep problem. All of those conditions, either from yin deficiency, liver qi stagnation, or sometimes yang deficiency or blood deficiency, but all of these conditions we can be trained and prescribed by the Qigong forms. Is a wonderful study for the fibromyalgia, for the Qigong study. This is 2021. Give us evidence informed practice or evidence-based practice for Qigong exercise or Qigong therapy for the fibromyalgia. Another Tai Chi research, a lot of Tai Chi research recent years, especially this past 3 or 5 years. So in the 2021, another research about Tai Chi and insomnia. As we know, the sleep difficulty is very common condition, no matter for the young adults, the teenagers or seniors or adult. They have a significant the impact to our daily life. So they're all can be overweight, obesity, gain weight related insomnia, the sleep problem, high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, the poor immune system function, the all related insomnia. And the research said that Tai Chi is a great exercise and a great form to reduce the risk of the depression. In the Harvard Medical School, I just attending a conference on October 23rd, 2021. They have a systemic controlled, blind, double-blind controlled research trial for Tai Chi and the depression. Is really excited to know this evidence-based research and the practice in all of the world, and also especially the leading by the Harvard Medical School. And I'm following their steps and the teaching and the practice Tai Chi for myself benefit, also for my clinic, for my patient, and for the community. So it's very much benefit for Tai Chi and insomnia. Another thing is just again depression. I just mentioned again the Susan have the research 2021 about the depression and the Tai Chi and the Qigong. The depression, especially during the COVID, this is 2 years. I personally am depressed. I just feel sad for the COVID. I just sad for all the politics related to COVID. I wish the COVID going to stop very soon. So fortunately, I have a Tai Chi this week on acupressure, acupuncture, so we can treat using this alternative, drug-free, harm-free treatment to treating the depression. And today we talking the Tai Chi and the Qigong. So I'm looking real forward for future to share this Tai Chi and Qigong exercise with everyone. So I feel this is my mission, and to share this knowledge, these skills, these techniques for Tai Chi and Qigong to fighting the depression. Another research is the hypertension. Well, the hypertension is a real silent killer. Hypertension is a silent killer for the body. So we know that loss of weight can reduce the high blood pressure, the hypertension, reduce the salt, engage regular physical activity, maintain a healthy weight. Today I saw Dr. Lee have almost transversion, a new person, lose weight, very fit and shiny, and in the body and the spirit. I just feel excited to see the changing for the colleague on another side. So the maintain the healthy weight is such important things, and you're the model for me, and also the model that you're the star for the TCM festival in Canada 2022. Today I feel so, and we're also treating the hypertension. Either eat fresh natural food, no smoking, and follow the medical advice, taking the medication. But the most important today, I like to sending the message from all the research from European scientists in the 2011 about hypertension and the Qigong exercise. Is a great benefit for this scientific research about how the Qigong can benefit people who suffering high blood pressure, who suffering hypertension. Is a wonderful research that we know we need practice the Qigong, we need to practice the Tai Chi exercise. The most job I'm working in Toronto is the Parkinson's, the Tai Chi exercise for Parkinson and preventing the fall. We know the first, this is from the National Council of the Aging. This is a chart. Number one is a physical exercise for the balance, keep the good balance and exercise program. So this is research for prevention of fall in 2021 again. So it's a real great message. It's just sending the message to us as a TCM practitioner, as a person who love the culture, who love the philosophy, to love the medical arts from China. So we need to sending this message to the people that Tai Chi and the Qigong can have a preventing the fall, have a increase the quality of the life. This is my personal interest in for Parkinson's, since I've been treating so many Parkinson's with our student so many years. So in the 2022 is a brand new research talking about the effect of Tai Chi on functional mobility, balance, and the fall in Parkinson's disease. Is a systematic review and the meta-analysis of systematic reviews. Is a review on the reviews. Is such interesting the research paper, but in their most highlight the message for me at the beginning, the most Tai Chi and the Qigong treating exercise was recommended is for irregular bowel movement. Why do the research? And then they talk about the gas first, Parkinson's. So is the gas, the bowel, the gas of some people can call sanjiao right now. Hopefully the development of the Chinese medical theory about the gas and the great memories of the stomach and the gas, they consider maybe it's a sanjiao organs. We don't know, but in their research, the Parkinson can be start from the brain or can start from a gas, from irregular bowel movement, from alternative Shaoyang symptoms, diarrhea or constipation. But the good news is the acupuncture, the Tai Chi, and the Qigong, they can treat, they can prevent, and they can have a benefit for people who suffering gas first, the Parkinson, or the irregular bowel movement, or any bowel symptoms, can calm the mind, eliminate the wind, harmonize the liver and the spleen is a very important, interesting topic. So this is a evidence-based. For me, is evidence-informed practice. So if the future, I like to share this my personal interest in. I like to be evidence-informed practice for Qigong and Tai Chi. So this journal is published. This research is published from Journal of Parkinson's Disease, 2022. How wonderful research and how wonderful the message. So I would like to share this message in the Chinese New Year festival about the traditional Chinese medicine, such a powerful traditional Chinese medical tools. So we have a weapon to fighting this disease. Let's talk about the Qigong. So today, since the time they only give me half hour, I really like to talking can be many days a week, a month about the Qigong and the Tai Chi and share all the knowledge. But today we make a simple things, the Qigong, the Ba Duan Jing, the 8 piece of the barcase. So the Ba Duan Jing, the 8 piece of barcase was developed during the 20th centuries by the famous general Yue Fei, that's Song Dynasty, from an internal martial art. It is a strengthened body to balance vital. So it's a very popular and powerful tools. So there's 8 different forms. So for me, I teaching Ba Duan Jing for many years. So since I was a high school student, I liked the Qigong. And even that time, because of Ba Duan Jing from the monk, you can see here, and my parents gave me a great advice, said you can practice the Qigong because a monk never married and there are no children. So right now, I'm very proud of my parents. As I said, I'm the expert for the Tai Chi and the Qigong. I practice this monk like the Qigong exercise. I have 4 children. So there's no correlation between practice Qigong and infertility. So this is using 8 extraordinary theory, the 冲脉、带脉、阴维、阳维、督脉、任脉、阴桥、阳桥。So those are different theory. The 8 extraordinary meridian system are using 8 extraordinary theory to give the direction and the explanation, the clinical function of the Qigong, for TCM Qigong or Ba Duan Jing. So how to the Ba Duan Jing going to looks like? So number 1 is we can go in together. Is the 2 hand holding the sky and adjust the triple warmer, the upper warmer, middle warmer, and the lower warmer, all the balance, sun jaw, middle jaw, lower jaw, and upper jaw. So those is exercise number 1. Number 2, you can see compare the up and down. There's a left and a right. So draw a ball shooting the eagle from the left to the right. Number 3, either raise a hand each side to harmonize the spleen and the stomach. I like this. Number 3, looking back, left and right to reduce the tiredness and eliminate harms. Number 5, rotate the head and swing the tail to release, to relieve heart and the fire stress. Lots of people heart fire disharmony. So those, the water and the fire disharmony. So from the tail, swing the head and swing the tail. Number 6 is a grab the head, the feet, throw the double, spin 21, strengthens the kidney and the core muscle, all right, and the core. Number 7, clench the fist, clear angry, and the strengthens the chi. Even I feel my eye become brighter. The last one, going to 7 times heel bouncing to melt all the illness. How beautiful the language. They need melt the illness. And the illness, just like an iceberg or like a snow. So our using the Qigong exercise to melt the ice, to melt all the illness. So in the Chinese New Year, I wish everyone have a happy and healthy Year of the Tiger. So because of time, I know I only have about a half hour, so I finish here. If I have any question, ask me so we can go. Hello, just a second. I will have I teaching in Nova Scotia. Come here to see. I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. So is there any question? So my lecture is finished. I'm looking forward someday. I'm going to have an opportunity to talking and go to the Nova Scotia for another Canada Chinese Medicine Festival on the 2003rd. Or best wish everyone, and thank you, Dr. Lee, thank you, Dr. Chen, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Liu. And I just want to let everyone know, it's our great pleasure to have Dr. Liu here to make take in the most Chinese New Year time, spend this afternoon with us to share his knowledge. He's one of the best in not only in Canada, internationally. So we're very lucky to have Dr. Liu here. Also, Dr. Liu, if COVID not getting reduced, or if not stop, then maybe in June, the June, July, or summers, any month of summer, we want to invite Dr. Liu here, do a 1 day or 2 days, and teaching us special Qigong in our park near the ocean. So we want to be glad to have you coming over here to teaching our students, to our community, for your share your knowledge with us. Thank you, Dr. Liu.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Lee, and best wish from Toronto to Nova Scotia is holiday. Thank you, and everyone across Canada. Thank you, all the best. So,
thank you.
Thank you, Dr. David Dong Yilu.
Thank you. I can call you. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I can't pronounce your last name.
Well, that's not actually me. I'm on my roommate's computer. My roommate is Leclerc, so Sax Leclerc, but I'm Janine. So
thank you. All the best. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you
all
so
the
much.
Best. Thank
It's
you.
very inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to move on now to our next presenter. And our next presenter is Rory Hawerda. Rory Hawerda completed his bachelor's degree in Chinese medicine in Melbourne, Australia in 2009. Although interested in all aspects of East Asian medicine, his particular fascination lies with Chinese herbal medicine. Rory moved to Nova Scotia in 2020 and has since joined the team at TCM, Canadian College of Acupuncture and Traditional Chinese Medicine, as a teacher and clinic supervisor. He is in the process of establishing a new clinic in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. So I want to thank you and welcome you, Rory, and look forward to your presentation on Chinese herbal medicine for respiratory conditions.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So, can you hear me okay? I'm just testing this out on my
Very
iPad.
perfect. Perfect.
All clear? Cool. Thanks for the intro. My name's Rory. I'm a Chinese medicine practitioner and a teacher at the college. And so today I will be doing a very brief overview on Chinese herbal medicine as it can be used for respiratory conditions. So I'm just going to check that I can share my screen on this device properly. Bear with me. Okay, so well, this might take a little while. So anyway, I'll call it a very brief discussion because Chinese herbal medicine is huge. There's a lot involved, and I'm just getting this done. Sorry about this. Okay, where's my password? Okay, well, looks like it's not going to work here. Alrighty, I'm just going to just discuss it without the slides. Sorry about this. So anyway, to begin this, we will start with I'm going to make this talk based on the idea that we know very little or not much about Chinese herbal medicine. So first we'll look at the way that we understand respiratory conditions. And then we'll have a quick look at Chinese herbal medicine, the underlying theories and how we put herbs together. And then we'll have a look at some common herbs that we can use for some common conditions and some little formulas that you could use at home. So Chinese herbal medicine, as with all Chinese medicine, has a very comprehensive diagnosis and assessment. So we look at every part of the body. Is someone run down? Are they stressed? Various things like was discussed with by the previous presenters. Some things we look at is whether the condition is external or internal, whether it's acute or chronic, excessive or deficient, hot or cold. And what that means, it basically gives us an idea of understanding what's gone wrong and where it's gone wrong. So an external condition is something where the problems... Some of the problems. Sorry? Is that okay?
It's okay. Hi.
I think somebody was unmuted and we were hearing something. So if you could just make sure that you're muted, everyone who's not Rory. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so let me just get back. I'm just trying to find another way I can get my slides up because they're going to be quite useful because there's pictures of the herbs, so you know what you're looking for if you go and try and find them. But anyway, as I was saying, so an external condition would be where there's an external pathogen that has caused the problem, not so much the body itself. And an internal condition would be where the body has run down and hasn't had the physiological capacity to deal with the problem. So, or a mix of both, which is very often. Maybe someone's run down and they catch an external condition, which could be a virus or a bacterial infection, something like that. Acute or chronic, that doesn't need too much of a description. And excess or deficient is another thing that we look at. So is there just too much pathogen in the body that we need to clear? Or is there a deficiency in the body's ability to deal with it? Or again, is it a mix of both? Is someone's digestion weak, and is there too much dampness and food blocking the digestive system? Hot or cold? So when we're looking at hot or cold, we're thinking, does the body manifest any objective or subjective signs of heat? Does the patient feel hot in any parts of the body? Do they have a fever? Things like that. And a cold condition would be the opposite. Are they feeling cold somewhere in the body? Thinking about what Lucy talked about with her food on Yang, when she gave some good description about what coldness is in the body. We look at something's dry or damp. So with lungs, we're particularly looking at this idea, are the lungs really dry? Is there a dry cough? Or is there too much moisture? Is there too much mucus that isn't being circulated around? So these are the things that we look at to weave a picture of what's going on with the patient. And our diagnosis is based on what we call syndrome differentiation. And it's quite different to how we would diagnose a biomedically defined disease. So we could have a biomedically defined disease like an upper respiratory tract infection or bronchitis. And from Chinese medicine, that could manifest in 5 or 6 different syndromes, which we would treat differently. The person would get different herbs or acupuncture depending on their presenting symptoms. And so I've got a list of just some common symptoms here. And if we can remember these, I'll reference these back again when I look at some home remedies that we could use. So some acute conditions. So we're thinking here generally cold, flu, influenza, well, that is flu, bronchitis. And the acute conditions we call them wind cold, wind heat, wind dryness, or phlegm heat. Now, Chinese medicine uses a lot of natural metaphor in their description. So we think of wind as something that's external. It can come very quickly. It can change very quickly. So a lot of virus, especially acute viral conditions, we associate to wind. And the coldness is how the body's manifesting with it. So wind cold would have signs of coldness. Wind heat would have the wind acuteness and signs of heat. And the wind dryness would be dryness and so forth. Phlegm heat would be lots of phlegm in the lungs with signs of heat. So the signs of heat may be a fever, but there may be subjective signs of heat or yellow mucus or swellings, things like that. Now, subacute and chronic conditions of the respiratory system is usually, there can be lots of different things, but usually at this stage, there might be an excess and deficiency mixed up. So the lungs function or even the digestive function is not working optimally. And so we're getting too much mucus being produced. In that condition, we call that often diagnose that as a damp phlegm condition in the lungs. So there's just too much mucus that isn't being dispersed or gotten rid of quickly enough. The opposite to that would be a lung dryness, where there's just the lung's ability to moisten itself and keep the throat moist and so forth is lost. So we get dry cough or dry throat, often dry skin. And lastly, we'll look at this idea of a lung qi deficiency. So I'm guessing most of you have some familiarity with the concept of qi. It's a very broad concept. Easiest way to explain to someone that's never heard it, I'll just say it's a lung functional insufficiency. So if we can think about qi as this functional energy of an organ. So that would be manifesting with a very weak cough or sometimes a weak voice, shortness of breath, weaker immune system, things like that. So I'm still just trying to get this other screen up, which I haven't managed. Okay. So they're the conditions that we would be thinking of. So when you do have a cough, and I'll go into a bit more detail on each of those shortly. Then we're going to look at how Chinese herbal medicine in general, the overview. So it's quite different to herbal medicine as practiced by naturopaths and other modern Western practitioners, sorry. Traditional Western herbal medicine is somewhat similar to traditional Chinese medicine, but in the modern sense, it's quite different. So single herbs are rarely prescribed. Very rarely would there be one herb prescribed. Usually we have herbal formulas, and these can range from 4 herbs to 24 herbs. It really depends on the condition, the practitioner, the formula, and so forth. And the formulas we use have been developed over a very long period of time. So some are quite modern and some are quite old. So for example, there's a book written around 200 AD called the Xiang Han Lun by Zheng Zhongjing. And he has formulas in there that are still very commonly prescribed today, and they're still very effective today. There's at least 5 or 6 that are very commonly prescribed around the world, and they were written at that time, which is, I think, testament to to, well, to his genius, I would say. And let me just get my slide here. Okay, so the formulas that come together, it's not just a random collection of herbs. They're put together very elegantly. And we would usually follow traditional formulas when we prescribe. Now, they're sometimes modified. Some herbs might be omitted or changed, but they will keep the general outline of a traditional formula. And the composition of a traditional formula follows, each herb is categorized to a role, basically. So we talk about the chief of the formula, which could be one herb, could be multiple herbs. What the chief does is addresses the main pathology. So if it was a lung infection, the chief herbs are going to be focusing just on that. The deputy herbs, they aid the chief and assist it to do what it did, to what the chief worked. So some of these could be synergistic herbs that amplify the effect, or sometimes they can be herbs that are there to treat a coexisting problem. So if someone had the infection but also had, say they were really run down and qi deficient, we might be having something in there just to support that, what we call the righteous qi or the zheng qi, to help counter the infection. Then we have an assistant. So, and again, we could have more than one assistant. These reinforce the chief herb, or they sometimes moderate the properties. So some of the chief herbs may have known side effects. So we use an assistant to counter those, or to moderate any toxic aspects of the chief herbs. And lastly, we have the envoy. And so an envoy has two roles. It directs the actions of the formula to a certain part of the body. So for example, there's a herb called Niu Si, and it directs the action of the herbs downwards. So maybe someone had eczema in the lower parts of the body. Say, we could use that herb that directs it down. Or if we want the herbs to be directed up, there might be, say, a herb called Jiagang, Platycodon grandiflora, often directs the action to the throat or the lungs, for example. The envoy will also can be added as a harmonizer. So licorice or ganzao is a common herb that's in very many, almost I'd say the majority of formulas, and it's there to harmonize the herbs, so to speak. It makes them more palatable. It's quite sweet, but in the traditional theory, we talk about it entering the 12 channels, and it helps just harmonize the entire aspect and the entire function of the formula together, to work together. So herbs work together very synergistically. It's not that you can just find one herb and say, this is the one that's going to do, this is the active ingredient. These formulas work because when they're boiled together and over time, the compounds will combine, and there's a synergistic action that makes the whole much greater than the sum of the parts. And that's why we follow the traditional ways they've been put together. They've been tried and tested. And as I said, they are modified at times, but they will always stick with the general composition and framework. So I'm just going to, I think I can log in now on my laptop here, and I should be able to share my screen if I can just get access. In the meantime, I will give an example now of a formula for use for common cold and flu. This is for a wind heat type. So this is, oh, before this, I forgot to mention, all the advice here I'm giving should not take the place of seeing a qualified Chinese medicine practitioner. Okay, so I'm going to give some basic herbs that you could use at home, but if you're really sick or you're going to start combining herbs, traditional formulas, do see someone that is qualified and has experience with these, because a lot of the herbs are classed as nutrient herbs, so you could buy them at a good Asian grocery, but there are many herbs that have potential side effects and drug interactions. So make sure you do see a qualified practitioner if you are wanting to go down this route. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this slide up, hopefully. Can anyone see, whoever's checking that? Okay. Sorry, well, I'll go through anyway. It's not quite as good without the slide. I apologize again. I'm going to go through a formula called Yin Chao San. So this was a formula made around the late 1700s. And it's Okay, there I am. I should have access now. Now I can share with this. The host will let me in. So Yin Chao San is a great formula. As I said, it's nearly 200 years old, but it's still used a lot today. It was used a lot in the SARS outbreak. And it is one of the bases for some of the formulas that have been used for COVID at the moment. Okay, so I can share now. This will be much more useful. Perfect. Okay, there we are. Can you all see that?
We
Hopefully
see
that's
it.
on the
Yep.
Yep, perfect. Okay, so here's an example of a classical formula for a wind heat type acute infection. So a wind heat is, we've got the wind aspect. It's an external disease of rapid onset. It's quite acute. And we're going to have heat signs. So we're going to be seeing fever, often a very sore throat, cough, things like that, yellow mucus. And this formula is very effective, and it's prescribed a lot. And recently it's been prescribed a lot for COVID in a modified form. So we can see the traditional composition example here. So we've got the two chief herbs, Jin Yin Hua and Lian Xiao, and they both work to expel the heat and to stop the swelling and the inflammation. They're the main herbs. We said they expel wind heat and relieve toxins. Then we have 4 deputy herbs. So we've got Jiegung, Niubangzi, Bohe, and Dendo Qi. So they are, Bohe is common, that's peppermint. Dendo Qi is a fermented soybean. Niubangzi is cocklebur. Jiegung is not a common plant, but they work together. So they all directing the action up and out, and they're mostly quite cooling. So they're assisting the chief herb do its function. Then we have the assistant herbs here, and they're working by Denju Yi, helps clear heat, primarily through the urine, but we have to get rid of the heat some other ways, not just by sweating it. Lugen helps build up the fluids. So if someone's got a fever, they're going to start, the internal fluids can be damaged. Lugen, and also cools the lung. Gansao, this is raw licorice. It helps moisten the lung and cool toxins. So Jiegung and Gansao can be used together by themselves for sore throat as well, quite a common combination. And then Jingjie is a herb used for wind cold usually. It's a diaphoretic, quite a pungent herb, but here it's balanced out nicely with the coolness of the other formula. So it's effectively expels the pathogen and eases the symptoms. So this is a traditional formula of how it would be put together. Now this one doesn't really have an envoy. You could consider Gansao the envoy in this one, but it's also functioning with the main thrust of the formula with clearing heat and assisting the lung and the throat. So we could call it the envoy or an assistant. It's a double function one here. So this, I'm not expecting you to make these at home unless you have experience, but I've gone through I've tried to think of some herbs that we can either find at the supermarket or at any of the good Asian grocers. So there are quite a few in Halifax, where we are, where some of us are. And I think most cities that have a good Asian grocery store should be able to find most of these herbs. So this first one is for the wind cold type. So our wind cold type, we're thinking we've got the wind acute aspect of it and exterior. The person probably has you've got a stuffy nose or thin white mucus, and you may have aches and chills. So mucus hasn't turned yellow yet. You don't have a sore throat, no fever. It's that first stage, maybe the first 12 hours where you feel like you may be getting a little bit sick. And this formula is fresh ginger, the white part of spring onion. That alone can work. If you just have those, boil them together very quickly. So you don't want to boil this for too long. You keep the lid on. It's the volatile components of the herbs are what are doing a lot of the work in this one. So you can add cinnamon twig if you have it. Cinnamon twig's different to the culinary cinnamon. It's the entire twig, and a little bit of licorice as well. You boil that up and take it until you sweat. The sweat is a sign that the body's circulation has reached the surface again, and it's usually a good sign. Keep rubbed up, and that's often enough, especially if you get it early in the early stage where you just feel that kind of ache coming along, and that can resolve the problem. If after the first cup you haven't sweated, you can take more. It's essential that the sweat is the sign that the circulation has pushed right out. And this is really effective and simple and tasty enough combination of herbs that you can use at home. There's no major side effects with any of these. I would add with all herbal medicine. If you are on strong pharmaceutical drugs, always take care. But this goes with any kind of medication you take. And the dosages here generally take about, say, 6 to 9 grams of most herbs, except for the licorice. Keep that around 3 grams. And that goes with most of these formulas here. So that's the wind cold type that you can make at home. Wind heat type. So this may have progressed from a wind cold, or you might initially get these symptoms first. This, you have the sore throat, there's some kind of feeling of heat. There may be an objective fever, or it might be just a subjective feeling of heat around the throat, around the lungs. And the mucus is going to be yellow at this stage. So this 4 different herbs: honeysuckle, or jininhua, chrysanthemum flower, called juhua, licorice root, and peppermint. So together, again, especially with the peppermint, add the peppermint in the last 5 minutes. It's all the volatile oils that you're wanting from the peppermint. If you cook it too long, you lose the volatile oils, and its efficacy is lost. So these are cooling herbs that disperse wind heat and resolve toxin. Very good, especially jininhua. You could put quite a big dose if you have a sore throat. You can also make a tea just of the jininhua, make it quite strong, and gargle that. You could also add a little bit of clove in to numb the pain, but jininhua is has a broad spectrum antimicrobial function, also somewhat anti-inflammatory. It's a really, really great herb. And you can get all of these at most Asian groceries, no problem. And this combination is quite tasty. You can always add a little bit of honey if you like, helps moisten the lung, but they're not particularly bad tasting herbs. Which some Chinese medicine herbs are disgusting, but none of these are. All right, so this one, if we have a wind heat dryness. So again, some similar symptoms, but we're seeing additional signs of dryness. So it might be a very dry, harking cough. We're still in the acute stage here though. Could be a dry throat, dry nose, things like that. So we take the idea of that first formula to clear the heat and the toxic component, but we're adding in some moistening herbs. So lily bulb is a great herb that one of its functions, it's also it's nice, nourishing, calming herb, great to have before bed. It's a really, really nice herb, but it has a function of moistening the lung. With the fresh Asian pears, the same. So if you find a pear like this, cut it in half and boil that in there as well. It has, or you can eat the pear with some honey, has a great moistening aspect. Even once you've cooked that, you eat the pear and a little bit of honey again. So we're clearing heat with this formula, but we're also going to be nourishing the fluids of the lung. And this is a very tasty combination, actually. I've had this many times. It's tasty. Again, I'd say you could, depending on the sore throat, jininhua could go up to, say, 9 grams or so, and the others around 6 to 9. And keep gansal, although with the sore throat and the dry throat, gansal has a nice action of moistening, so you could raise that to maybe 6 grams for a formula like this. And next one. Okay, so now we're going into, we're thinking more subacute to chronic cough. So there's no fever, there are no external signs, so to speak. This is someone that probably has a weakened digestive system. There's excessive phlegm that's been formed, and they might feel a little bit cold. There's the general yangs of the body somewhat blocked. And this would manifest in the lungs with maybe a cough that's excessive thin mucus or a white mucus, but no signs of heat at all at this stage. And it might not be a particularly strong cough. They might only get it when they lie down in bed. So lying down can exacerbate a cough because the mucus can settle. And this formula has got dry ginger this time. Dry ginger is a different herb than fresh ginger. They're similar, but their functions have changed. So we think about fresh ginger, it's a bit more expansive, and its yang it spreads outwards. So it releases the exterior and more so helps the lungs. So it's kind of lighter, I guess, in some sense. Whereas dry ginger is much warmer. It's hot, and it heats from the middle of the body, the kind of the earth component of the body, and helps disperse fluids that way. It still does help to the lungs, but it's coming from a different mechanism, so to speak. Tangerine pill is again, you can find this, most Asian grocers will have this. You might be able to find this as a tea. It's quite tasty. Chenpi, sometimes it's called junpi, I think. And it's great for a lot of things, but in this case, we think of it as helping regulate the digestion, help clear dampness and mucus, but will also help clear the phlegm from the lungs and help expectoration and just get any of these fluids and dampness that is accumulating and distributing it, so to speak. And again, we just add a little bit of Gansao in this one, just a small amount, just to harmonize. Think about it acting as an envoy or an assistant. And this is quite tasty, have a very warming effect. So this would fit in again to Lucy's talk when she was talking about some yang, bringing yang into the diet. This was a very yang formula as well. Ganjiang is very hot in the center and Chenpi is quite dispersive. Now we're going to look at, so damp phlegm heat. So this is where I've got a lot of mucus in the lungs, but there are some signs of heat there as well. Not so much external signs, so the fever's not there or chills or anything like that, but mucus that when it comes up, it is yellow or it's quite dark and it's difficult to expectorate. So it can be that difficult cough, that harking kind of cough. And in this one, again, we have licorice root again, clears heat, moistens the lung, helps stop cough, and snake gourd fruit called guolao. And it's specifically for clearing phlegm heat in the lungs. So it stops cough and helps resolve this kind of sticky, yellowy, tenacious phlegm. And then lily bulb, again, from that same formula. This is from the earlier formula. This helps nourish the yin, moisten the lungs. So by adding a bit more moisture, we can help the thicker phlegm be transformed and release. And it can help just help ease some of the uncomfort you might find in the throat from such a condition. The next one we'll go through. Okay, so lung dryness. This is again quite a tasty formula. You could make this into a dessert and have it as a kind of medicinal dessert quite easily. This is a much more persistent. Now the cough would be very mild in this sense, but it might happen more at nighttime. It's the yin aspect of the body has been damaged. Now it could be a follow-on from having one of those heat diseases. After a period of time, if the heat disease wasn't resolved properly, we have this kind of damage to the fluids, to the yin, and we have this persistent dry cough. Might be worse at nighttime. It's not going to be a strong cough. Maybe some kind of skin dryness associated with it as well. And this formula it's a very nourishing, gentle, tasty formula. We have lily bulb again. So again, this could be bought at the local grocery store. Sha Shen, very common herb again. You can find it most of the Asian grocery stores. This is glenia root. It nourishes the yin of the stomach and the lung. That's what we say with this one. And what that means is it helps build fluids and moisten the lung, basically. Licorice root again, so I keep going back to that one. We have the Asian pear again here. So it's got a nourishing, moistening effect on the lung. And honey, same thing. Moistens the lung, helps ease cough and dryness. So these can be cooked together with the pear and then eaten with a bit of honey on top. It's really delicious, or you can just have it as a tea. And with all of these formulas, you could omit some of the herbs if you only manage to get, so if you don't have the pear, you only have the herbs, that's absolutely fine. The main function's coming through the lily bulb and the glenia root in this one. But quite a nice, tasty home remedy. You can have all these things on standby for when you have any of these problems. Now we're going to have a look at the lung qi tonic. So this is to address that idea of a lung qi deficiency. So when the bodies run down, usually there are going to be some other systemic deficiencies as well. But just for the sake of this discussion, the lung qi deficiency is probably going to manifest with some shortness of breath and maybe some easy catching a cold or catching a chill or getting a cough. Sometimes it happens when the weather changes quickly, can be a sign of this, but general rundown. So even if you're feeling run down, these herbs can be used or added to some stocks to generally build up the body's qi. So they address the earth element as well. They build the spleen qi, which is what we'll say is the one of the sources of acquired qi in the body. And all of these herbs work by boosting the qi. So that's boosting the functional capacity of the lung. Also, the immune system is intimately related to that, and digestion and energy in general. The main thing to think about when you're taking these, though, is you wouldn't take these kind of herbs when you still have an acute phase. So if you have a fever, or there's obviously some acute phase in the body, in that case, you'd want to be, even if you were run down, you'd have to be balancing them out with some herbs that clear the pathogen. And in that case, you would definitely want to see a qualified practitioner. But if you are just run down, you don't have a cough anymore, there's no mucus, there's no fever, anything like this, then these are great herbs that you can use just for generally building up the body. And so we have ginseng, which everyone's heard of ginseng. It's a great herb, but it's very expensive. So in a lot of formulas, it's substituted for cotinopsis root, dangshan, and it's much cheaper. Use bigger doses, but it has a very similar function of boosting the spleen and lung qi. We have huang qi, which is astragalus root. It's used a lot by other modalities of herbal medicine, uses a lot as an immune tonic. We think about it as a lung and spleen tonic, and it's got a nice sweet. All of these tonic herbs have a rather sweet flavor to them. They're quite tasty, and it boosts the ability, the immune system, but also the general qi of the body. And lastly, we have Chinese yam, shanyao, and it's quite a starchy food, very nutritious. It's good at building the qi of the body again. So it helps, we say it builds the kidney qi a bit as well, but it's working at the spleen and the lung. So all of these together work to generally build the functional capacity of the body, or what we would say is boosting the qi. And if we boost the qi, we boost the way the body's working, and we're going to be less susceptible to illness, and you're going to have better energy levels and so forth. A lot of these, from a Western point of view, they class as adaptogens. What that means, it kind of helps the body moderate itself to do what it needs to do. So in that case, if there's certain stresses, it moderates some of the stresses in our body, I guess, cortisol and so forth. And sounds like my 3-year-old daughter's home, just in time. And that brings us to the end of the slide there. So the only thing that I haven't written up there is the doses again, and I would suggest again between 6 to 9 grams is always sufficient here. The only one to be mindful of with the dosage is gansao, the licorice root. Keep that around 3, unless it's for a sore throat condition. Then you could bring it up to 6 or so. And that's it. So if there's got a little time for questions, if anyone had any questions regarding any of these little home remedies.
Roy, we did have a question. One of the guests asked a question: if you didn't have some of the herbs, could you use an essential oil, a high quality essential oil such as the Young Living essential oils, in place of the herb?
I'd say no. The only one that possibly you would maybe work in that case would be the bohe mint, because it is basically the herb. It is the essential oil that you're extracting when you're putting it in. It's really that's where the diaphoretic component comes from. And other than that, no. There's a lot more going on within the herbs. There are far more compounds that all act synergistically. There isn't just one oil you can pull out. So unfortunately, not in that case. Hope that helps.
Thank you.
But all of these can be bought. And they're generally quite cheap. You can buy them. They're dried out. They last a long time, except for the pear. You can just keep them tucked away, and they're quite tasty herbs.
Rory, thank you so much. This is a really helpful way to deal with some of our own things at home in a way that is really straightforward and helpful. And I appreciate your thoughtfulness in putting together this presentation and sharing with us today.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for inviting me. Glad to talk, and I've enjoyed the talk so far. Nice
Okay, great. We have one more presenter. Rory, if you could stop sharing the screen.
Yeah, no problem.
Move on to our next one. Great. So our next presenter is from Joyce Chu from the Confucius Institute at St. Mary's University, and I've already spoken about St. Mary's University and the Confucius Institute. So I turn this over to Joyce to tell us about Chinese characters.
Thank you. So hi everyone, I'm Jiahui Qiu, Joyce Qiu from Confucius Institute at St. Mary's University. Today's lecture, I'm going to talk about Chinese characters, and I will use some examples to show the connection between Chinese characters and the traditional Chinese medicine. First of all, what's Chinese character? The Chinese language is the oldest written language in the world, with at least 6,000 years of history. Chinese character inscriptions have been found in turtle shells dating back to the Shang Dynasty, proving the written language has existed for more than 3,000 years. And why is Chinese character so unique? Because the Chinese language is the only pictographic language still in use. Its roots is like picture, representing the meaning of the words with pictures. Let's see the evolution of horse. At the beginning, it's a picture of horse, and at the end, it turned to a character. So you still can find some Chinese characters look like their ancestors. First one, mountain. Second one, water. Third one, the moon. Fourth one, tree. And last one, a ring. So now we know that some Chinese characters look like pictures. Let's guess a few Chinese characters. What does these Chinese characters mean? Can you see this picture? Yeah, so this one is san, umbrella. Next one is feng, and this character appears 7 times in acupuncture points. Next one, bi, nose. Like we just talked about, there are many pictographs in Chinese characters. There is a very obvious pictograph in the 5 vessels, which is the heart, Xin. The image, script, and character. You will see this character is shaped like a heart. And the 3 dots are like the blood flowing to the heart. The ancients think Xin is an organ not only to pump blood, but also to think. So characters with the radical Xin are related to the emotional activities, such as think, 想, 感, sense, 情, feelings. Next one is the eyes. Okay, so it resembles a human eye. The middle is like eyeballs. If you look at the oracle bone script, you will see the picture. Characters having the radical move are usually related to eyes or activities of eyes. Let's see a character. To look, 看. This character divides into 2 parts. The top part means a hand, and the bottom part means eyes, which means this action, like you put your hand over your eyes, means you are looking somewhere. So if it's not a single structure character, usually each Chinese character will have a radical, and this radical will tell us a lot of information. Mu is related to the eyes. So can you figure out which one is eyes? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters here. If we're looking for this radical, we can find the top right one. This one means eyes. And human mouth, 口. The radicals with radical, the characters with radical 口 are related to mouth, such as 嘴, mouth, 吹, to blow, 喝, to drink, 唱, to sing, and 吃, to eat. And now we can easily find 嘴, the mouth here, because of the radical. There is a very important radical that we may often see when we study traditional Chinese medicine, and that is meat, 肉. Because the radical meat is usually related to human body or flesh. I put some body part here. For example, 脸, face, 肚子, belly, 脚, foot, feet, 膝盖, knees, 腿, leg, 肩膀, shoulders, and 背, back, waist, 腰, they all have this radical. So it's related to human body.五脏六腑. Let's take a look at the 5 viscera and 6 enters. How many of these radical can you find? Yeah, so besides the heart, 心 is the single structure character. So besides this one, every character has this radical. 肝, the left part, 脾, left part, 肾, bottom part, 肺, left part. There are even more in other organs. Let's count how many are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so in one picture, we can find 13 of these radicals. As long as we know the radical, we can associate the meaning. So these radicals not only show us the Western of ancient Chinese, but also help us better understand the meaning behind the characters. Bing, sick. The oracle form script of Bing is a compound ideograph character, which resembles a sick person lying in the bed. Its original meaning was serious illness. So look at here, the left part means a bed and the right part is a lying person. And the characters related to this radical, it usually means some disease, illness, or sickness. Let's see which diseases are related to this radical. Illness, hurt, pain, treat, mad, tired, tickle. And scar, addiction, cancer. Yeah, so Chinese characters are not only beautiful and interesting, but also meaningful and useful. they can help us better understand the traditional Chinese medicine. Okay. Thank you for your listening, and now please enjoy the calligraphy video together.
I have no desire for wealth or noble rank. My only love is for those letters from the brushes of the men of antiquity. Mi Fu, 11th century. Appreciating Chinese calligraphy without being able to read Chinese may sound difficult. What is one to look for? Everyone can appreciate the abstract quality of the line in Chinese calligraphy. The energy present at the moment of writing is visible in the finished piece. Changes of speed and force in the handling of the brush create a rhythm which observers can follow, almost like the moves of a dance. Red seals contrast with the black ink and enliven the composition. They are not only the seals of the artist, but of owners and collectors as well. The more esteemed a piece, the greater number of seals can be found. Brush, paper, ink, and inkstone were called the four treasures of the scholar's studio. To be able to compose poetry and write calligraphy was an ideal most learned Chinese strove to achieve. John Wei has been practicing the art of writing for most of his life. He is one of the contemporary masters of calligraphy. Here, Mr. Wei is writing the character for tiger in 4 of the major styles of calligraphy. In the oldest style, which is almost 4,000 years old, the tiger is still easily recognizable. Several hundred years later, the character has evolved into a completely abstract shape. The character fits neatly into an imaginary square. Each stroke is executed carefully. When written quickly, strokes blend together and the character becomes almost illegible but very dramatic. Many calligraphers favor this style because of its expressive qualities. The last style to be developed originated around 2,100 years ago. It is the style used in everyday writing, even for neon signs in bustling cities. All these styles are still practiced today. This makes Chinese the oldest writing in continuous use, with a history spanning almost 4,000 years. But not every written Chinese character is a piece of art. It takes many years of training and copying of ancient examples to become a calligrapher. When executed by a true master, calligraphy is not only beautiful writing, but the way it is written offers a glimpse of the character and temperament of the artist. Few works of art are able to establish such an intimate relationship between the artist and the viewer, which is one reason why calligraphy has been held in such high esteem over such a long period of time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Joyce Chu. The Chinese characters are so fascinating, and the deep symbolism and history behind the development of the language and calligraphy. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I want to thank again all of our sponsors, both CCA, TCM, the association, and St. Mary's University Confucius Institute. Dr. Lee, do you want to say any few words at closing? Oh, you're muted, Dr. Lee.
Yes. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, for this, spend this time with us for our 3rd Traditional Chinese Medicine TCM Festival. And that means a lot to us with your support. And we want to thanks for Meridian University Confucius Institute for their support. And thanks for Clinicology, Acupuncture, Nature Medicine, Traditional Chinese Medicine for their volunteer. And thanks for everyone, the volunteers, the staff working very hard to make this festival successful. And thank you, everyone. And John, Dr. John, do you want to say something from the Meridian University Confucius Institute? Professor John, you want to say some?
Thank you very much, Dr. Lee. Thank you very much, the hostess, and everybody. I enjoy this first, for me, this is the third traditional Chinese medicine festival. I think it's very successful, and everybody does a good job, did a good job, and I benefit from the lecture, even though I'm Chinese. I do not know so much about the formulas. It's very useful, especially at this moment. So our festival is of practical significance and of also theoretical, academic significance. Anyway, I enjoy this festival, a successful one. We have had 3 hours or 4 hours already. Everybody, has contributed to this festival. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for all the guest speaker. We have mostly like international. We have a speaker from Australia, and some of it is speaker from China, and from Lucy of it come from England, and we have from Toronto. So this is really great. All the guest speaker put the time, energy into share this afternoon with us. And next year, we see you next year for our 4th Traditional Chinese Medicine Festival. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
I can